When the market's red and your charts look dead and the bears are growling loud. When the candles fall and your margin called and the doomers start a crowd, you just zoom out wide, take a breath inside and remember what I say. You got a bull in me. You got a bull in me. When the candles crash and they scream it's done and they say the rally's through, just remember, friend, every dip can bend back into something new. Yeah, the bears may roar, but I've seen before what the bulls can really be. You got a bull in me. Now the pundits shout, say the world's wiped out every time the charts go red. But I've seen the game and it's just the same. Every cycle plays ahead. First they panic sell, then the news will tell how the market's strong again. Funny how that goes, everybody knows, but they fall for it again. You got a bull in me. You got a bull in me. Now the market might shake you, try its best to break you, make you think it's all pretend. But if you stay cool, don't play the fool, you'll still be standing in the end. You got a bull in me. You got a bull in me. You got a bull in me. Yeah, you got a bull in me. Yeah, the market's wild, but stick around a while. You got a bull in me. You got a bull in me. You got a bull in me. Yeah, you got a bull in me.
Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Matt Kohrs Show, where it is a beautiful Friday, and you know what that means. It is a Payday Friday. Pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video is the link to the free giveaway. We're giving away not 5, but 10 different prop accounts, 5 for options, 5 for futures, and of course, everyone selected to get one of those giveaway prop accounts will be entered into a marble race where we're going to be racing for some cold, hard cash. Once again, this is free for everyone to enter. So if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, if you're paying attention to this, pin to the top of chat in the description of the video. All you have to do is like, retweet, and follow, and that is exactly how you get entered. So we'll be doing that probably about 2 hours from now. We're starting early today because we're getting a GDP report, a PCE report. A little bit later on, we have jobs, so we have to start early, which I really don't mind starting early on Fridays, especially with Payday Fridays, because that means there's just that much more fun in the giveaway itself. So like I said, happy Friday. Let's see if we can make a couple shekels on today's craziness. We're about to get rocking with some very important reports. And in the meantime, don't forget to get yourself entered in that giveaway. I do appreciate you getting up at the crack of dawn, beating the farmers today to join the show. So with that in mind, let's see if I could get you guys ready. Stock futures tick higher ahead of key inflation data. Traders monitor oil prices and Iran. So there's a lot going on. I mean, the headlines are already popping off today's stock market today. Oil prices dip below 100. Dow futures waver. If we look at what's going on Overnight, the SPY and the NASDAQ, the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 were really, really brutal. And then from 4 a.m. till now, we're actually looking somewhat decent. Also recovery in the small cap sector. Let me show you what's going on with oil. Oil was very high around 4, and it's doing the exact opposite of the equities market. And we're actually seeing a little bit of the bull camp returning, if you will, favoring what's happening in crypto. Bitcoin going from 70 all the way up to 72.5. So as rough as things were at 4 this morning, about 4.5 hours ago, things are looking pretty decent right now. Now, the next obvious question is, will it hold? Folks, your guess is as good as mine. We're about to have craziness not only from the continuation of whatever is or isn't happening in Iran, and we'll be covering that. But also, we're about to have some very important macroeconomic data drop. So today, in 4 minutes, we get the GDP report, we get the PCE month over month, year over year headline, and also the core. We're going to get durable goods month over month, year over year. And then at 10 a.m. today, we're going to be getting the JOLTS job opening. So if you care about one of these specifically, here are all the lines in the sand. This is what Wall Street is predicting. Obviously, if it hits, we could get a really nice green day, and maybe all those people who are loaded up on puts are about to get destroyed. Or if it's a miss, well, we might continue down and down and down. Obviously, looking at yesterday's action, it was pretty brutal, but maybe this is just the overshoot of it, and we start to come back and go for that upside gap fill that I am blocking you from. You can see in the S&P 500, yes, there is still an upside gap fill from yesterday. It's 6745, and in reality, we're not that far away from it. We're at 6700. Heck, I mean, the reports that we're about to get could be the thing that pops us all the way up there. So I have no unique prediction on are we going to hit this or not, but it's just a 50-50 coin flip. I mean, between GDP, PCE, JOLTS, durable goods, the war in Iran, the fact that it's a Friday, volatility's already been nuts, oil's nuts. There's just so much going on. So, like I said, your guess is as good as mine, which, you know what? Let's see how good your guess is today. Folks. If you had to guess right now, what's the market's reaction going to be at 8:30? You think we're pippity popping and we're green skyrocket? Or do you think we're doing the exact opposite and we're about to fall off a cliff? The report's coming out in a minute and a half. Less than that, actually. You're at a minute left, folks. What's it going to be? If you had to guess, if you had to bet your net worth on the movement, this initial movement right at 8:30, the data's dropping in 60 seconds. I see a bullish pop. We hitting the gap fill at some point today, pop. All right, so we have a lot of bulls in the audience. Today. Well, honestly, I don't really care about what direction we go. I just want a nice tradable trend. This chop whipsaw bullshit that we've been having, especially yesterday, it was just mind-numbing. It was so incredibly infuriating. I just want a nice trend. That's all I want. Whatever way we get going, I just really want to get going that way. I want to hop on the trend, and I just want to ride it. That's my goal. That's my dream. Will it happen? Well, obviously, we will be finding out soon enough. So let me switch this up. Data is about to be coming out. Hopefully they give us our boy Rick Santilli.
We won in. Well, here we are. I take no joy in this. It was so obvious to us, I think, at the time about how these movies unfortunately would end.
All right, get ready.
All right, in the meantime, ByteDance is working on building up its computing power outside China using top-of-the-line NVIDIA AI chips. That's according to the Wall Street Journal. It says that the TikTok parent is working with a Southeast Asian company on plans to use NVIDIA's Blackwell chips in Malaysia for AI research and development.
Almost a giant
the journal
lack
says
of
that
reaction.
the Southeast Asian company is a
the
so-called
data out?
Tier 1
There we
NVIDIA
go.
cloud
A little
partner.
life.
That means that it can get priority access to the company's latest chips.
Must have come
you can
out
see NVIDIA
slightly
shares
delayed.
up by about $1.50.
But now we're popping. There
Okay, January PCE, durable goods, personal income, and the first revision of fourth quarter GDP is all out, and now it is happening. Rick Santilli is the CME in Chicago. He's got the numbers.
There it is.
Absolutely, and the
Look at this
numbers
guy.
are
Oh, we're still
populating
going.
here. This is our January read on income and spending, and the PCE numbers expecting up 0.5%. Comes in a bit light, up 0.4% on income. Also up 0.4% is spending. We're
Market
expecting
up.
up 0.3. That's
We
a nice
popped 30
number.
points
If you look
in
at real
NQ,
spending accounting for
maybe 40.
inflation, it's up 0.1%. And here we get into the inflation metrics. Month over month, headline PCE up 0.3 as expected. Cooler than the rearview mirror, which was up 0.4. That would be the coolest since November of last year. If we take a year-over-year perspective, it comes in at 2.8. 0.1 cooler in both directions, backwards and forwards. 2.8 equals November, October last year, 2.7. Now let's go month over month. Core, maybe more important, especially considering the news of the day and how that news may filter through over the next several months. Up 0.4 as expected on a month over month core PCE. If we look at year over year, comes in at 3.1 as expected. Although this is the only number 0.1 hotter than the rear view mirror, 3.1, well, that would basically the highest since it was March of 24 to find a higher number. Now let's look at durable goods, shall we? Durable good orders headline expected up 1.1 comes in unchanged.
We had a pop.
Remember, our last read was minus
no
1.4. So this is a little bit disappointing. Ex transportation, though, zoom, up 0.4, close to expectations. That follows a 1% increase. It would be the lightest positive number since up 0.2 in October of last year. Now let's look at new orders, non-defense ex here. Proxy for capital spending, a disappointing unchanged. We're expecting up 0.5%. It has been running strong, though, over the last couple of months. It's been up 0.8 and up 0.9 for November. So solid when we look at a multi-month average. Finally, if we switch to shipments, minus 0.1%. That is a bit shocking. We're expecting up 0.4. That'll be the first negative number since August of last year, which equaled minus 0.1. Find a smaller number. April of last year, minus 0.2. The GDP, fourth quarter, second time around the block. Our headline number, it gets cut in half.
Whoa.
In half. From 1.4 to 0.7.
Wow.
That'll be the weakest growth in any quarter since the first quarter of 25. If we look at consumption, 2.0, that's from a 2.4 look on the first look. Second look, 2.0. That would be the lightest since it was only up 0.6 in the first quarter of 25. The price index on GDP, 3.8, 0.2 hotter than both directions, equals the third quarter of 25. To find a smaller number, you're going back to the second quarter of 25. And the last number is core PCE, and that core PCE quarter over quarter is exactly as expected, 2.7. To find a higher number, you're in the third quarter last year at 2.9. Find a smaller number, you're in the second quarter of 25. So these numbers, how do they pan out? Well, you're looking at 4.25 on a 10-year, maybe the best way to assess that. It closed last week at 4.14. We're basically down 11 basis points. 256 were a 2-year close, up 14 basis points on the week. And of course, the 10-year is up 11 basis points on the week. Those numbers, they are big, but they're certainly not huge, especially considering the huge news over the last 3 weeks. Back to you.
Hell yeah.
Okay, Rick, thank you for that. Steve Leisman's at the table, staring at his screen, trying to make sense of what's going on here.
Government somewhat less. Experts detracted more from GDP. Exports, consumer spending contributed a little bit less. Yeah, that was a big shocker to me.
Initial pop?
What we care about here, guys, is the extent to which, and I hope Rick is sticking around because we've got to talk about the bond market, but I just want to rip through the numbers here. We care about what the economy was before we're heading into this new world where we figure out what the economy will be with these higher oil prices. Obviously,
we've almost given back the entire
by the Fed's preferred metric remains high, remains above target, up near 3%, 2.9%. That's a significant number. GDP was weaker in the fourth quarter. We will get some of that back in this quarter when we get to the
GDP miss is
rebound
crazy.
of government spending from the shutdown coming back in. That should be there.
1.4
Consumer a little bit lighter,
0.7.
government a little bit lighter. And investment also, by the way, a little bit lighter. In fact, every critical component contributed less to GDP. That's how you got to 0.7. Looked like markdowns across the board. I didn't get the business investment number inside durable goods. I'll look for that. But Rick, there's been a lot of volatility in the bond market. Beginning a day or two after you and I talked about the lack of volatility in the bond market, which is just shows to go you that you should you never know what's going to happen. But I'm especially interested in the 2-year, Rick, and that seems to have coincided with a real rethink of what the Fed might do this year. Want to know what you're hearing from the boys and girls in the pits.
Well, consider yesterday's close in a 2-year note was the lowest yield close since the third week in August of 25. But the 10-year yesterday closed at the 10-year closed at the highest yield since the 4th of February. So I guess what I'm pointing to is that there's been a major flattening of the yield curve, and it really is prompted by the 2-year, and I see where you're going. This is correlating very high with what's trading in Fed fund futures. If you look at the December contract for this year, it's been selling off. And if you overlay what's going on with 2-year yields, they are going back and forth, cross-fertilizing each other as investors are taking easing probabilities down. They're taking 2-year yields up, and they're flattening the yield curve.
Rick, real quick, did you get that investment number inside durable goods? Because that's been a bright spot for parts of the economy here. And there, by the way, we have it up now, the latest probabilities on those rate cuts. Toying, flip of a coin for one in September, and more confident one in December now. But you can see how far down they are from where we thought we were. We were going to get 2 rate cuts. Now we're toying with whether or not we get 1, but not 2 this year.
At 650.
A lot to figure out. Also, we've seen the move index, which is the volatility of the bond market, go up as well.
The initial reaction was.
Becky, try to figure out just what the heck is going on right now and where these things are going to settle. But we do start, unfortunately, at least when it comes to the Fed's preferred indicator, as opposed to the CPI.
Do remember, though, Steve, the dollar index is now above 100. We haven't closed above 100 in the dollar index since, I don't know, about the 3rd week in November of last year. That is a good thing.
It's a good thing, but it's interesting that you would think
the dollar's showing strength
being higher, and
the dollar's
it would
actually
create
showing
more.
Yeah, I like to buy stuff.
I
like to buy things that come into the country. Yeah, it helps people buy things, and obviously some of its strength is associated with the commodities, which are going up, which are potentially inflationary should energy prices stay elevated for a longer period of time. Yes.
Yeah. All right, guys, we have a lot to talk about. Rick, call me over the weekend. Let's go through it all.
Gotcha.
Oh, that's
all right,
cute.
gentlemen, thank you. Right now, we want to bring in our panel to talk a little more about this.
Becky,
former Trump Treasury official Joe Lavorgna and former Biden Treasury official Kitty Richards. Joe, what do you think happened here? Because I know your take on all of this was that the government, the economy was in pretty good shape before everything happened in the Middle East, but these numbers suggest a little differently.
Wow,
we kind of came right back, Becky, to where we were in the beginning of the quarter when the outlook was that things would be soft because of the shutdown and the way on income. And as Steve related,
30-minute was
you're going to
trying to go
get
bullish,
that
but it's
payback in the first quarter of 26. So the economy, I think, still fundamentally is pretty healthy. The tax incentives on the building, especially the structures, 100% expensing, and then, of course, the no tax on tips and overtime is going to lead to huge refunds. The biggest issue, though, as you know, is what's happening in commodity markets and energy, because it takes what I believe is a very fundamentally solid economy, one that is going to accelerate, is now cast doubt on it, as you can see in markets, which are worried about the extent and duration of this energy move, because there's nothing that will take liquidity away from households faster than higher gas and oil prices.
Kitty, what do you think? I mean, obviously, the events that are happening on the ground right now are complicating any sort of clear vision on what we might be seeing in the economy. But these numbers do come as a surprise. What are you betting at this point, just in terms of where we stand?
I think these new GDP numbers are surprising. They were much lower than expectations, but they are also consistent with what we've been seeing in the job market. So last month's job market report from BLS showed that we actually lost 92,000 jobs across the economy in February. They also revised down December jobs, and so it was negative. So I'm wondering if we're actually seeing some of those labor market indicators and GDP come into line. That does paint a softer picture. And of course, we're seeing inflation remaining elevated. And the fact that core PCE is still quite elevated, moving into a period where this, chaos in the Middle East, the war that Trump has embarked on, has caused gas prices to go up dramatically in the last week. Those will continue to rise. Oil is trading around $100 a barrel. When you add that on top of persistently high non-energy inflation, we could really start to see inflation tick up.
Hey, Kitty, two things. One is I love the book that's right behind your head.
So I wanted to
say I appreciate that. I caught that. I don't know if others caught that.
Pinned to right where we were. Oil down and down and down.
Just on the left side of there.
1929.
No, it says too big to fail.
Oh, okay.
And then Joe, it's nice to see you. My question, which relates to where I think Kitty was going with this, is what is the chance, and I know the administration's been pretty persistent with the idea that, if things can get resolved, all of a sudden the price of oil is going to go down again. But what is the chance it remains elevated for some period of time, even after fighting ends, if you believe that is even possible?
Well, the thing is, Andrew, when you get these big oil spikes, they tend to go up very steep. The slope on the line is high, it's sharp, it's almost a right angle. And generally, when the situation is resolved, prices come down. So whenever this crisis ends, and hopefully sooner than later, I do expect prices to go down. The problem is the length and depth with which these prices rise. In 22, we had a lot of stimulus. The economy was overheating. We had very strong job growth, 300,000. Now the job market, I would argue, is going to turn up because it will follow the CapEx trend and the pro-growth tax policy. But with this energy move, that kind of throws a wrinkle in things. It seems to be the markets are still betting on a relatively short conflict. That certainly will help. But again, the longer we keep these prices higher, inflation will go up. That will collapse real income, hurt spending, and lead to a stalling out in growth.
One thing to bear in mind.
Oh, go ahead, Kitty.
One thing to bear in mind about the job market is what we've seen over the past year is that a large share of job growth has been in the healthcare sector. And last year's budget bill, which cut taxes for the wealthy very steeply, but also cut Medicaid and failed to extend really important subsidies for Affordable Care Act coverage, has led to millions of Americans losing their health insurance. That is going to, and also they're facing rising costs for healthcare if they were able to keep their insurance. And that is going to have real impacts on the healthcare sector, on jobs, as well as on Americans' pocketbooks. And I think you're seeing some of those pressures also feed through to that disappointing consumer expenditure that we're seeing. Consumers are really strapped. They're seeing prices rise for utilities. They're seeing prices rise for gasoline. They're seeing prices rise for food, and premiums for healthcare going up by hundreds of dollars a month in many cases. And that's really putting a squeeze on their ability to spend. And consumer expenditures are the driver of GDP growth in this country. And so I'm not as sanguine about what's going to happen in the labor market or with GDP.
I think we know
year.
that, lady. Why the fuck would they bring
Joe,
a penguin on?
Worry about
That's
that?
stupid.
And I guess if you would put yourself in the Federal Reserve's position,
Look at me. I'm a fucking
do you
penguin.
worry more
I know
about the potential
stock
for a
market.
softening economy,
I'm
a softening
penguin. I
jobs
eat
market,
fish.
or do you worry more about what
Penguin,
these higher
penguin.
oil prices mean for inflation?
Well, on the labor markets, the real wages under the first 11 months, 12 months of President Trump's term have been very positive and very strong. Blue-collar workers have seen huge wage gains. The problem, of course, is now where we are with the situation in the Middle East. So to me, as I said earlier, the economy is fundamentally healthy. But this oil move is a concern. And I do believe, as I've said many times, the Fed should be cutting interest rates to help the cyclical parts of the economy to grow, because the Trump tax plan is disinflationary because it increases the supply side of the economy. However, if you're the Fed, having gotten burned very badly with transitory in 22, 23, they're going to sit and wait, as Rick said earlier, and you see it in the markets, we're pricing out Fed easing. So it does cause a risk, because when in doubt, the Fed's going to sit back and is going to wait. They don't want inflation expectations to become unmoored. And because of that, nothing is going to happen. The yield curve is bare flattening. That's not going to be good for interest-sensitive activity. which is why what happens overseas needs to be resolved as soon as possible.
We have some life.
Joe, Kitty, thank you both for joining us this morning. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
Up next, former Dallas Fed President and Goldman Sachs Vice Chair Robert Kaplan on how these numbers may chart the Fed's rate path.
That was a bigger pop than the actual news, folks. That was a bigger pop than the actual news. Is anyone seeing anything? What is this? We are pippity popping for some reason. News feed. What is this? No. There has to be something. Is anyone seeing anything? There has to be some sort of breaking news. I mean, Wall Street's trading on it. I am not seeing anything quite yet. Hang on. I'll bring this up. Wow, we're going now. What is this? France and Italy open talks with Iran in hope of securing safe Hormuz passage. That just got reported. Would that be it? France, yeah, that's the news. According to the Financial Times, France and Italy open talks with Iran in hope of securing safe passage. So that oil should be dropping on that. Yep, oil dropped from 94 to 93 plus. Market, little bit of a pippity pop on that one. Wow, yeah, we cracked through. All right, today's the day. We're talking about this upside gap fill. Interesting potential bullish target of the day, if this holds, is 6745, the low from Wednesday, March the 11th. Obviously, you could see a similar level on the SPY, on the Qs, but obviously I'll mainly be referring to it as the low on SPX, 6745.59, some level to watch. Now, folks, yes, we have some breaking news this morning. We had some PCE that came in at expectation, durable goods a little less than expected. The surprise was GDP. The second reading of GDP, they expected it to be 1.4%. It came in at 0.7, so they were off by like 50%, which is kind of crazy. So what's the most interesting is we didn't really react at 8:30. We popped up a little bit, gave back, actually went a little red relative to that start. And now we're popping on this Italy-France negotiating with Iran news for sending oil tankers through the strait. So that the fact that this had like 3x the impact is kind of interesting. And yes, I want to be breaking all this down, but because it is before 9 a.m., if you guys don't mind, before the rest of the class shows up, because we're starting early, is it cool if we talk about something that's maybe not really market related? And in fact, when I say it doesn't have anything to do with the market, I mean it literally has nothing to do with the market. I just find it to be one of the craziest stories that I've read in, I don't know, the past couple weeks, past couple months. Is that cool? Is that cool if we get into something a little bit different that maybe it relates to the market? I don't know how it'll relate to the market. But it's kind of crazy. Like, I promise you, if you know the story, you're already gonna be like, yeah, I agree, that's crazy. If you don't know the story, at the end of it, you're gonna be like, that is actually crazy. Is Matt pregnant? No. Apex payout? No. It relates nothing to the market. Let me preface this. The story is a sad story, but there's a big twist in the story that kind of blows my mind, which is why I want to share it with you. Old Dominion University students when a Muslim terrorist burst into class yelling, Allah Akbar. And then obviously we have a picture of Dexter. If you don't know Dexter, it's this idea of a guy who's a serial killer, but he only kills bad people. Now, at first, if you don't know this story, this meme, this joke probably doesn't make much sense to you. So let me just add a little bit of context here. This is the guy who's an absolute scumbag. May he forever be rotting in hell. He opened up, he was a shooter. Mohammed something, born in Sierra Leone, became a naturalized U.S. citizen, radicalized by Al-Qaeda, convicted for providing material support for ISIS, sentenced to 11 years in prison, released from prison early under Biden. So basically, this guy is a top-tier scumbag. Like, literally deserves to rot in hell. A radicalized jihadist, and he, at a university, opened fire. He ended up taking lives, but obviously his life was taken as well, as in my opinion it rightfully should have been, because he's an absolute fucking scumbag, like a horrible, disgusting human being. I want to be clear about that. But that's not really the craziest part of the story. Unfortunately, recently we've been hearing more and more of these stories of like radicalized people being radical. Like, it's fucking horrible, and they're obviously taking the lives of completely innocent people who have nothing to do with it. But what makes this story stand out is this particular press conference. Let me make sure it's big screen for you. This all happened yesterday, so it's somewhat of breaking news. We're slightly delayed, maybe to the tune of 18 hours. But just please, no matter what you're doing, make sure your volume's up a little bit on this one, because I want you to hear some of what this is the press conference following what was said. Let me just make sure the volume is an acceptable level for everyone. Make sure you're paying attention to specifically what this lady has to say about the shooting at Old Dominion.
How was he deceased?
The question was, sorry, because I started, it was, how was he deceased? Basically, how did the shooter's life get lost? Most of the time in this situation, he's either taken out by someone else with a firearm, or they end up taking their own life because they're a fucking coward. So that was the question. How was he, with reference to the shooter, how was he deceased?
How was he deceased?
There were students who were in that room that subdued him and rendered him no longer alive. I don't know how else to say it, but they basically...
There were students in the room who rendered him unalive. One of the most wild FBI updates that you're ever going to hear. There were students in the room who rendered him unalive.
Basically, were able to terminate the threat.
So he was not shot?
He was not shot.
He shot 3 people?
Correct. We have information that he shot 3 people.
The one that went to Virginia?
So, little follow-up there that he shot 3 people. Like I said, absolutely horrific. But the craziest part of this is he was rendered unalive. Oh, you mean like he was shot? Nope. He was just terminated. As in, these people just actually fucking beat him to death. They choked him out. They unalived him. No firearms needed. And then when you dive into the story, you basically realize that you have these heroic ROTC students, Old Dominion students, heard a couple gunshots and somebody shouting in a weird accent and pulled up like this. They legit did. So I don't know who it was. Is it barbaric? Yes. Did he deserve it? Yes. Am I here for it? Fuck yes. If you open up shooting on innocent people at a school, I am like, dude, I know this is like probably a brutal thing to say on the internet that like I'm never going to be able to take back, but I am 100% fucking here for it. I am here for it. Fuck that guy. Absolute scumbag. Applause for all the students. Dude, that is a fucking savage way to handle it. And once in a while, you hear these stories. Unfortunately, we deal with a lot of shootings in the U.S. where it feels like we deal with more than we should. And every once in a while, you hear a story of a person standing up and like protecting their classmates, their loved ones, their friends, whatever area you're in. And honestly, every single time it happens, I try to like imagine what it would be like to be that person. And I see a lot of people in chat saying the word hero, heroic. And I agree with you, but I feel like these people are almost operating on like another level to do that, like, and defend everyone and like, just like, oh my God, it's so impressive. I'm so fucking impressed. Yeah, like you said, America. Dude, just screaming America. So like I said, applause to these ROTC kids. Obviously, my thoughts and prayers go out to the families who are negatively impacted by this. 3 people were shot. The last time I checked last night, 1 definitely lost his life. The guy who's, I think, leading the ROTC, or he was somehow involved, but he was a teacher. So that was obviously horrific and sad. And obviously to the fucking scumbag who did this, you're nothing but a fucking scumbag. I hope you rot in hell. These like radicalized pieces of shit. I don't care if you're radicalized anything. If you're radicalized for any religion and you're taking the lives of other, go fuck yourself. Like absolute fucking scumbag. So that's what all these memes and shit are about when it relates to Old Dominion. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Like I said, it doesn't have anything really to do with the market, but I just wanted to cover it because it was one of the most wild stories. Like the way she had to do like responds to like, so what happened? She's like, we're not really gonna ask questions on that one, homie. Sometimes sometimes justice takes care of itself, and we're not looking into it. It definitely had one of those vibes of, we're not going to ask too many questions. All we know is when we showed up, there was a couple kids, 18, 19, 20 years old. They had blood on their hands. We saw that the shooter was down, terminated, and that's all she wrote. I just like the vibe that she's like very much not looking into it. They're like, sometimes, and that's when I was really cracking up. There's a lot of memes about this. So if you're scrolling on, like doom scrolling on Twitter today and you see stuff related, it's a lot of Gangs of New York. It's a lot of Dexter. It's a lot of the concept of like taking justice into your own hands, which I think is absolutely fucking wild. There's no excuse to use initial violence against a fellow human, and it is more imperative to use violence to stop the initiator of the violence. Wait, is someone yelling at me for my take? It doesn't seem like you are, but it seems like maybe someone else did. I don't know how it would be possible, but I actually think, like, in my opinion, I wish something worse happened to that piece of shit. I don't like it. It seems horrible. Really, why waste money looking into obvious self-defense? That's what I'm, someone's yelling at me, but I don't see the initial comments of someone yelling at me. But I fully agree with what you guys are saying. Hell yeah, dude. Like, let's not, like, the kids in New York here, who were just throwing like those like homemade bombs, dude, that's gonna get tied up in court forever. Dude, they tried to kill a bunch of people, in my opinion. And like I said, I understand that my personal thoughts on this are maybe a little bit more brutal, but nope, done, gone. You are not welcome in society. You are not welcome with us. You fuck around, you find out. And to me, just that would be such an easy death sentence. And I get that some people get all touchy on that, and not all states you have a death sentence. But in my opinion, if you try to like execute a true terroristic plot in New York City, done, bye, see ya, game over. Thanks for playing. No refunds, no restarts, out of there. It would have been done within a week, dude. I'd give it, if I was running the legal system with this type of shit, it would be done in 7 days. It would be the 7-day Kohrs justice system. And like, when it's just so evident that, like, it's one thing if maybe they're innocent, of course, like, whatever. I think everyone deserves their fair due process. But when we just have video of you tossing a bomb, are you kidding me? Are you, like, when it's just so evident that you're guilty? Nah, brother. Nope. Game over. No refund. You don't pass go. That's pretty much where I'm at on it. But hey, those are my own thoughts and opinions. But anyway, now that it's pretty much 9 a.m. and I really wanted to cover that story just because I thought it was so incredibly nuts. It's time to get into what in the world's happening with the market today. So first of all, Friday. Payday Friday. If you're just joining right now, we did have some major economic reports. GDP was a massive miss. PCE and durable goods pretty much in line. PCE was in line. Durable goods was low. And then at 10 a.m. today, 30 minutes into the trading session, we're going to be getting the JOLT job opening. So that's coming out in about an hour from now. So I just want to put that on your radar. But taking a step back before we dive into these specific major macroeconomic announcements, stock market today, oil prices dip below 100 and Dow futures rise. So taking a little look-see at where the market's at right now. Let me go to the 15-minute on all of this so you can kind of see where we're at. Let me realign all of this. So crude oil is coming down. In fact, on that recent Italy, France news, oil got to 92, currently bouncing back up to 93. You have volatility kind of chilling a little bit. SPY is actually up since 4 a.m. This is nothing but a rocket ship, higher and higher and higher. Looking at the NASDAQ bouncing off of 594 all the way up to 600. So from 4 a.m. till now, it's already bounced $6. So there's a lot of movement. There is a lot of volatility. Dude, Matt, you're sick. Yeah, I agree. But do you mean sick like I still have bronchitis, or sick like I'm really into skateboarding in middle school and I wear like some baggy dark clothes? Which side? I also hate Trump. Oh, you're saying sick like you think I have perverse opinions of how a well-functioning society should run. Well, I can't really disagree with you. I've had that feedback from multiple people in my life. So, I don't know. You might be right. I've heard that before. Maybe you guys are all right. Maybe you guys are all wrong. When I say you guys, I mean the group of people. Could be. But if you're referring to my skateboarding days, I never really got past an ollie. I could do an ollie successfully in middle school, but I could never really get to a kickflip. I think it's because my ankles aren't as flexible as they should be. That's a self-diagnosed issue. No doctors ever told me that my ankles aren't flexible. But if you ask me, like when I look around the world and look at people's left ankles, I look at them and I think, fuck, man, that feels a lot more flexible, a lot more malleable than my left ankle. And once again, self-diagnosed. Not only have I not talked to a doctor, I haven't actually even spoken to AI about it. But from all the left ankles I've seen in this world, it feels like people are operating with like a more supple left ankle. Like if you had a bell curve of the flexibility of left ankles, all I'm trying to say is I would be on the left side of the bell curve. Maybe not a full standard deviation below, but I feel like that's why my skateboarding career really never took off. I don't know. Maybe I was meant to be a skateboarder, and then I don't know, breaking my leg early in life. It just didn't. You never know, dude. So, am I sick? Could be. I can't even disagree with you this morning. Anyway, back to the important stuff, mister. Oil holds above 100 as Trump says America has ammunition and plenty of time to fight the Iran war. Brent crude oil is the global benchmark, hovered around $100 on Friday. Once again, we just dipped to 92. Brent futures up 9% since the start of the week, building on the 28% rise that we've seen last week. Yeah. 2 weeks ago, we were trading in the mid 60s, and recently we spiked all the way up to 120, and now we're back in the low 90s, mid 90s. We have unparalleled firepower, unlimited ammunition, and plenty of time. He's kind of right. He's kind of wrong. The one thing that I find weird about this, and remember, I am not a political strategist, a military strategist, or in all reality, a strategist of any sort. But what I don't get is why did we not refill the strategic petroleum reserve before we started bombing Iran? Like, you would think that at any point ever since Trump took over, this entire width of time right here, we could have just been filling up our oil before it skyrockets. Like, there was many, many months where we were chilling sub 70, and we could have popped that thing all the way back up, had as much oil as we possibly needed before we start lobbing some missiles. It feels like a misstep. I bet there's reason for it, but I don't really understand why we didn't do that. Barrels of crude oil in the U.S. SPR, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, is at one of the lowest levels it's ever been. Breaking U.S. oil reserves are set to decline by 41% to their lowest level since the 1980s after the U.S. announced a 172 million barrel release. This will drop U.S. oil reserves to 243 million barrels, or just 34% of total capacity. So we're at 1/3 of what we could be storing. This will drop U.S. oil reserves to okay, we already did that. On top of this, the SPR, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, must keep about 150 barrels in place to maintain operational flexibility. This leaves just 93 million barrels available to draw, or less than 5 days worth of oil supply that normally passes through the strait. So we're not even at a full calendar week of what we really have that relative to what goes through the strait. After the upcoming release, U.S. oil reserves will be down nearly 400 million barrels. Since the Russia-Ukraine war, the U.S. strategic oil buffer is rapidly disappearing. Like I said, it's going down and down and down. That is not the trend you want to be seeing, and it leaves me scratching my head as to why we did not refill it before we were getting into the shenanigans that we are obviously in. So I bet there's some sort of reasoning for it, but it's not a reasoning that I necessarily understand, at least not at this moment. Damn. U.S. allows temporary purchases of Russian oil already at sea to stabilize energy markets. So how do you know that things are getting rough from an oil situation, from an energy situation? It's when we are somewhat supporting a war that we're not technically in, but we're getting all of the, I guess, support to the side that Russia's against, aka Ukraine. And yet it's so bad of a situation that we're like, you know what? We're going to go back to buying oil from Russia. How insane is that? The U.S. allows purchases of Russian oil already stranded at sea, measurement aimed at stabilizing energy markets amid rising crude prices. Treasury Secretary Bissett framed the price spike as a temporary disruption. I actually do believe it's legitimately a temporary disruption, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to all feel the pain. Like, if prices are higher, they are higher. This just blows my mind. It like legitimately blows my mind that it's gotten so bad that we're buying oil from Russia. Holy crap. So every single day you might be thinking, with all this craziness, how is the US government responding? What in the world is actually going on? What's Trump doing? What's the administration doing? What's Congress doing? Well, fortunately for us, we're in the era of whenever you need a response, we're actually just getting memes. Operation Epic Fury. The White House, President Donald J. Trump. I want to clarify that this was posted. This isn't just people making it to make it. This was posted by the official White House. I should have added that context before, that we're in the middle of an energy crisis. We're in the middle of multiple wars. And the official commentary from the White House is just memeing the shit out of it. Just memeing the shit out of it. Like, people spun up, people losing lives, like a global shift in powers. A shift in global powers is probably the proper way to say it. And then the world's looking to us, the people kind of like orchestrating this craziness. And they're like, okay, like, well, what do they have to say on the matter? And then all I can imagine is like, they're coming to our Twitter to see the commentary from Trump, and they're just getting memes. Just getting memes. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's so absurd. It's just, if it was a little less funny, it wouldn't work. If it was a little less absurd, it wouldn't be funny. But it's so evidently out of place that, if you ask me, it makes it absolutely hilarious. Like, it's one of those things that, like, I was saying this in the Discord yesterday, that in a very serious bad situation, if you make a joke, it's inappropriate. But if you make the most horrendous joke ever, it then somehow becomes acceptable. And in my opinion, this is at that level where if you make like a little one-off-handed thing, you're like, that's not really the right time, the right place. But if you make it so incredibly absurd to the point that you're memeing the people who you are bombing, then it actually becomes top-tier comedy. It's rage bait, it's trolling, and the fact that it's getting to the highest level of government in the world, it's crazy. It's so insane to me, and I'm here for it. It cracks me up. It really, really does. But like I said, very serious things. Not funny at all. Well, I don't know what to tell you. It cracks me the fuck up. They have to be trolling the Iranians. By definition, they are trolling the Iranians. They're posting memes and they're splicing in us bombing their buildings, their territories, their vehicles. Of course it is. Super cringe. I mean, if you don't find it funny, like, that's on you. I don't know. Like, to me, it's so absurdly over the bounds of what's acceptable that it makes it hilarious. Like, it's not just like, oh, it's like a little too soon. Like, it's so... It's I guess this concept of reading the room, this concept of, is it too soon? It's like, it's a fucking light year past it, man. It's so incredibly far past it that it makes it an excellent form of trolling. It makes it an excellent form of rage bait. Like, seriously, if you don't find it funny, we just didn't grow up in the same age of the internet. You didn't use Twitter or Reddit as much as I did. You didn't grow up, you weren't trained socially in the voice chat of Call of Duty, like the first or second one. Like, we just grew up in different eras. But like, if you grew up in the era that I did, if you are anywhere from like the late 80s to the early 2000s, that is like the sweet spot where we were taught about internet socialization from trolling and rage baiting. If you are mid to younger millennial, probably not early Gen Z, maybe the earliest Gen Zs, this is our shit, man. This is it. Like 50% rage, 50% bait. Yeah, like it's, I don't know. We just grew up in a different era. And I understand how if you didn't, this could seem incredibly offensive. But to the era that, if I was born in 94, if you were born anywhere close to me, you're going to understand exactly what I'm saying. It's literally the entire point. So you might be sitting there saying, that's inappropriate, that's cringe. That's the entire point. And I'm not saying you have to understand that form of comedy. I'm just saying, in my generation, this was the form of comedy. It was the game of who can say the most horrendous, out there, like most vile thing, and that's how you won the comedy off. If any of you played even more than 1 hour of Xbox Live Call of Duty, dude, the shit that was said there, like the extreme nature of how quickly everyone went. And it could have been a young little 8-year-old, dude. You could have been talking to a kid not even in the double digits of life, and they would have even been popping off saying the craziest shit. So it's, like I said, I'm not arguing that it's appropriate. By definition, it's inappropriate, which is why it's so funny. That's why. Cringe AF. Yeah, if it's cringe, you just didn't grow up in the same era we did. I don't know what to tell you. I can't explain it. It's from it. I guess I'm a product of the time, and I know many of you in here are as well. So you get it. You get the jokes. And then some of you are not. So I don't know what to tell you, because you're going to argue that it's inappropriate and like, holy shit. And the fact is that we agree. We're not disagreeing. The people that are of my mindset, like, we agree with you, but that's the point. The entire game was who can be the most inappropriate at the most inappropriate time. That was the game. Is it right? No, it's arguably a little fucked up, but dude, it just is what it is. Anyway, Trump warns of new strikes on Iran as war hits 2-week mark. So yeah, we're posting memes and slinging bombs. It is what it is, dude. Hegseth says Iran's new supreme leader is likely wounded. So the son of the previous supreme leader, the religious leader, the Ayatollah, his son took over, and apparently now he's either completely dead or maybe he's just in a coma. We're not sure, but his reign did not really last that long. So big update there, obviously. 4 crew killed in the U.S. refueling plane that crashed in Iraq, according to the Pentagon. U.S. Central Command confirmed on Friday morning that 4 of 6 crew members were killed when refueling plane crashed in Iraq. So I want to be clear here. As much as like the government is memeing it, like, lives are clearly being lost. Authorities claim the loss was not due to hostile or enemy fire. So it seems like some sort of maybe like just flight mess up. This is the 4th reported loss of U.S. aircraft since the Iran war started. So a little bit of sad news there. And here's a better update.
The situation with Iran is moving along very rapidly. It's doing very well. Our military is unsurpassed. There's never been anything like it. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. They really are a nation of terror and hate, and they're paying a big price right now.
Let's get more from Bloomberg's Jumana Bersachi in Dubai. So, Jumana, Iran's new supreme leader, clearly aware of how much leverage he has with the Strait of Hormuz. It's probably, his best card in a way.
Yes, well, we are entering into day 14 of the Iran war. And for a couple of weeks, people had been speculating as to the whereabouts of this new supreme.
What fucking name is that? What in the world? I have never. How do you pronounce it? Jomana. Like Joanna Man? Was she in that movie? It's Arabic.
Jomana.
One more time.
Jomana.
Jomana. Apparently it's Arabic. I don't know if I've ever heard of that name before. It feels a little on the nose that they picked Jomana, to be giving us an update on Iran, but hey.
Supreme leader. Yesterday, he issued a statement that I will say
just
was
call
read
her
out by the
Batty.
newsreader on national television.
Come on, guys. This is a professional
and the
show.
messaging was one of defiance. He vowed to keep the Strait of Hormuz closed. He vowed to avenge the killing of school children at a school in the early days of the joint U.S.-Israeli military operations. He also said that other fronts could open up as well, that they could trigger other conflict points, and then said that they will continue to hit U.S. assets so long as they are in territories around the region.
So the big statement, keep the strait closed. Other fronts will be open if war persists. Regional nations should close U.S. bases. Iran will take compensation from the enemy. That they're not going to get that.
So again, another warning coming through for Gulf states there. So the messaging very clear, no signs of yielding, no signs of what President Trump has been calling for, which is a complete and unconditional surrender. And I think, from their calculus, it's very clear now that they have assessed that they are able to inflict damage even with a very small amount of munitions. And we're talking about the lower cost drones here that are capable of inflicting damage on civilian infrastructure.
Obama would be sending piles of cash right now.
Enough to stop vessels from crossing
He'd be sending
the Strait of
drones
Hormuz.
to bomb
and
civilians,
so that is the calculation coming from the Iranian regime.
A normal
At the same
Friday
time,
morning
you
for
have
that guy.
Those comments from President Trump.
It's a joke,
suggesting
Obama.
that for
Don't send a
him,
drone to me,
stopping
brother.
Iran from developing
Not
nuclear
really a joke,
capabilities
though.
is
He
more
did it.
important to him
A
than
lot.
the price of oil. But of course,
That guy
as
loved
this
his
conflict
drones.
continues, as the war grinds on, you may start to see more and more some public pressure build on President Trump, because overwhelmingly the U.S. is against the continuation and against a prolonged military action in the region right now. So it does appear to be a war of attrition
Don't
on
drone
both
me,
sides.
bro.
Meanwhile, Jumana, the Israeli Prime Minister seems to have changed his tone just a little bit. He's now saying regime change in Iran isn't guaranteed.
Dude, are they just making
Perhaps
up
they were
names at
expecting more of a
Bloomberg these days?
popular revolt.
This lady's
So
name
what
is
the aim
Vonnie,
then for Netanyahu?
Vonnie. Vonnie.
I would say that they've
That's not a
probably
name.
dialed
They're
back,
just making shit up.
but wouldn't necessarily say that the objective has shifted. And what the Israeli Prime Minister said yesterday is that the joint U.S.-Israeli strikes have significantly weakened Iran and its clerical leadership, but they cannot guarantee regime change. However, they are creating the conditions, is what he's saying, for a toppling of the regime. But actually, what's
Biddy
happening
having
is
a
there
moment?
are little signs.
Bitcoin,
from what
it's
we can
holding
tell.
right
There's
now.
very limited
It's
information
finally maybe
dissemination
getting a
still coming
technical
through from
breakout.
Iran, that the system is beginning to crack from within. There's little signs that the population is mobilizing as well. There are reports that the IRGC are mobilizing their paramilitary arm, the Basij, and this is the arm that essentially oversaw all of those very brutal security crackdowns in prior episodes of demonstrations. They're being mobilized, and they're also pushing for these pro-Khamenei rallies that are taking place as well. We saw a series of rallies over the last couple of days of people expressing their support for the supreme leader. So really unclear whether anything tectonic is shifting on the ground, but notable that the Israeli Prime Minister is no longer stating that regime change is one of the main objectives at this point, and suggesting that it has to come from within.
Interesting. Well, that's a pretty solid breakdown of the recent development. So right now, about 2 weeks into it, tensions are seemingly getting worse. I think Trump originally thought Iran would take the knee way, way earlier. But here we are. Obviously, it is leading to more U.S. fatalities, which I think is a very important thing to note. Obviously, it's causing an extreme amount of volatility within the market, depending on the minute you look at it. We might be sky high, we might be sky low. That's not a saying, but we're going to say it anyway. So obviously, over the weekend, and I feel like this is important for me to do every Friday, remember, like, crazy stuff can happen over the weekend. And I would actually argue when it comes to Trump's operations, more crazy stuff happens over the weekend than it does during the week. So it's something you have to be mindful of, especially if you're swinging any of your positions. with respect to today, if you're joining the show now, you're late. Demerit class started at 8:20 this morning, so you're literally an hour late. But because I'm a nice guy, I do want to let you know GDP was a gigantic miss. They expected 1.4%, came in at 0.7. PCE, the personal consumption expenditure and inflation measure, came in at expectation. And durable goods came in a little bit lower. And then also, just so you know, at 10 a.m., 30 minutes into the trading session, we're going to be getting the JOLTS job opening. So that's something we're going to be popping back to Rick Santilli, and you might just want to be mindful if you're day trading, swing trading right at 10 a.m. So don't forget about that. If you haven't already, sign up for the newsletter, mattKohrs.locals.com. It is in the description of the video. My mod will put it in chat. And most importantly, it is 100% free. If you are listening to me right now, you can get this newsletter for free. It comes to your email inbox every single Sunday. I break down what's going on in the market, cheat sheet for all the earnings if we're in earnings season, cheat sheet for all the major macroeconomic events. For example, you could see here, PCE, GDP, durable goods. We already got all those. And then at 10 a.m., we're getting JOLTS job openings and the consumer sentiment. And then I also give you the seasonality for each individual trading day. And I want to let you know that today is leaning bullish. Over the past 27 years worth of information, the bulls don't even win half the time. They win 43% of the time, as in the bears win 57%, but the profit factor is 2.27. So what does that mean? Well, it means the bulls in chance, when they win, it's less often than flipping a coin, but when they do it, they win at a pretty considerable size, which is why we have a very nice profit factor of 2.27, which is why the seasonality of today isn't full on bullish, but it's definitely leaning bullish. And here's a look at the hypothetical equity curve you would have if you bought it open, sold at close on the S&P 500 futures market. So obviously it does, to a certain tune, favor the bulls. So like I said, I give this out for free, mattKohrs.locals.com. My mod just put it in chat. It's in the description of the video. You might as well sign up. Like I said, there's no upgrade payments or anything like that. It is 100% free. And since we're talking about free things, it is Payday Friday. Where is my Payday Friday? Right here, somewhere. Pinned to the top of my Twitter. It's Friday, folks. So we're giving back. We're giving back not one, not two, not three, but 10 prop accounts, 5 from Lucid, which are futures sim-to-funded accounts, and 5 from Vanquish, which are options sim-to-funded accounts. So 5 and 5 of each. We're giving away 10 of those. And then, of course, all 10 people who are selected are also going to be put into a race. And the winner of the race is going to be getting some cold, hard cash. So we're going to be doing that today. If you want to enter, all you have to do is like, retweet, and follow. And then, of course, when we're running it in real time, the people in the Discord, we're going to be running a giveaway in there as well. So just make sure you're in the Discord paying attention to the general chat. So I just want to call that out there. Happy Friday. TGIF. Hopefully we make some money today. And even if we don't, well, hopefully you're one of the lucky people either winning the overall race or winning one of the prop accounts or something like that. But like I said, it is pinned to the top of chat. It is in the description of the video. Or you could just go to my Twitter profile at Matt_Kohrs. And all you have to do is like, retweet, and follow, and you will be in the game. Did you move away from Apex? No, not at all. I still really like Apex. My accounts are just frozen. I requested the $1 million out. And right now I'm being told that the head honchos at the company are reviewing the accounts. They're reviewing the payout requests. They're reviewing everything. And then hopefully I get it's been about a month. My accounts got frozen on February 3rd. So it's been about a month and a week. And I do have confirmation that the head honchos at the company, they're reviewing everything. They're doing anti-money laundering. They're doing KYC. When you're sending this much money, there are legal regulatory things you have to do. You can't just whip that money around that easily without confirming who the person actually is. Of course, they have to review all my trades and make sure everything was above board. So I'm not done with Apex. I'm literally just waiting. So fortunately for me, as I'm waiting, really working on my patience here, there are many other accounts. So I feel fortunate that I have the opportunity to trade with other prop firms such as Lucid, such as FFM, such as Tradeify, such as Legends was a new one somewhere. Did that one get disconnected? No, that one's right here. So I'm happy that this industry is growing at the rate that it is, because it just gives me the opportunity. I have more accounts on TPT, can't see them yet. I don't think I can even trade on them until maybe next week, maybe next Tuesday or something. So right now, I have Apex accounts. I could even show them to you if you don't believe me. Right here, I'll connect so you can see them for a second. Right there, here's all my Apexes. I have them all. million of net profit. That's what I requested out right here. PA Apex, I have 20 of them. 15 of them are 50Ks. I traded them up to 117. The 150Ks, I traded up 4K, so looking good over there. But the accounts are just frozen. I can't trade on them anymore as they are reviewing my case for that payout. So I still have Apex accounts. I still have TPT accounts. You can't see those. The ones that you can see that I'm actively trading on, Lucid, Legends, Tradeify, and FFN are the ones that I'm using right now. So with respect to Apex, I put in the $1 million request, and right now I am just waiting. Just waiting. Matt, what made your trading breakthrough? What would you suggest to achieve consistent profitability? This is a phenomenal question. So let me actually get back to this one. Oh, hang on. Sorry. Don't listen to that. My bad. That was my fault. Matt, what made your trading breakthrough? What would you suggest to achieve consistent profitability? That is a great question. And the answer is it really has nothing to do with trading. It has something to do with your mental framework of accepting variance. When you start trading, you understand that you're not going to win every trade, but it's really hard to do that, especially when you're betting your own money, because of course you always want to see it go up and up and up. And it's one of those things where I deeply believe you can learn everything you need to learn about being a successful trader early on, like maybe a week of study, a month of study. The hard thing is mastering your own discipline. And it's accepting that, yeah, with your strategy, you're going to have some losses. So for me, and this took years and all, like I wish some people are faster, some people are slower, but it took me years. And even sometimes I feel like I still haven't mastered it. It's understanding you're going to take losses, and your job as a trader is to minimize those losses so you can stay in the game, in the marathon that is trading, so you're around and have an account when you can have those big winners. You never know when the opportunity is going to present itself. So it's all more so a game of risk management than actually trading. And it's really the discipline to follow through on that risk management. That was by far the biggest thing for me. By far the biggest thing was just saying, hey, I get it. I'm going to have losses, and you just have to roll with those punches. And it's one of those things that you're listening to it and you're like, yeah, duh, that sounds so fucking obvious. Like no one in here is going to disagree with it. And it's not even that big brain of a statement. It really isn't. But it's more of like, in reality, where we all once in a while get into those situations where you know you should be out of the position, you know you shouldn't be sizing up, and yet you're in the position or you're sizing up. There's those weird situations where you know what you're doing is actively wrong, and you're just hoping you get lucky because there is an aspect of variance. If you're playing poker, you can win on a 2-7 offsuit, but that doesn't mean you should be playing a 2-7 offsuit. Inherently, or on the opposite side, I should say, you could be dealt pocket aces, and yeah, you might lose, but you should be playing that. You should be. You should at least see the flop. Like that's the rules of the game. So I think it's one of those things that it's hard for the human mind to accept the variance. And eventually it just gets beaten into your skull. And I guess I have a thicker skull than normal because it probably took me longer than it should have. But it's just really a game of risk management. The best traders are the best traders because of the best risk managers. You are not in control of your profits. You don't know how far the market's going to go in your favor. But you do know your risk because you're the one who gets to set your risk. So it was me rewiring my brain to focus on what I could actually control versus the uncontrollables. So if you're sitting there freaking out about something, ask yourself, is it in your control or not? Your sizing's in your control, and the part where you say, okay, you know what, I'm just wrong, that's also in your control. You get to pick your sizing, and you get to pick when you pull the ripcord. Other than that, the price movement, if it's in your favor, it's not in your control. Of course, we could all get hopeful and be like, yeah, I hope this like really, really rips for me. And like we all have those points, but inherently you can't wave a magic wand and make that happen. So for me, in a roundabout way, one of the biggest jumps, and once again, once in a while, I do revert to doing dumb shit I shouldn't be doing. And today or yesterday was almost one of those days. But the days that I'm trading well with you guys, I think I identify the trend. I get in as soon as I can. I take my risk off my table because once again, that's in my control. And then from there, I just hope it goes in my favor. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And it's really just trying to keep yourself calm and not like really spazzing out when things go against you, because things are going to go against you about half the time. Like if you're in the game of active trading, pretty much every other trade you do is not going to go well. Like roughly, those are the odds. So as market is opening right now, please keep that in mind. Dingity ding ding ding. The world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all. Play responsibly. And if not, have fun. Happy Friday, folks. We've almost made it. We have almost survived the gauntlet that is this trading week. We have one more session. All right, Bitcoin's looking good. It's at 73, so we're throwing that up on the screen. Let me move myself over here. You have oil in the bottom right. You have the S&P 500 in the top, and then obviously the SPY. So with respect to the key levels of the day, we are in the transition zone. As I always do, I mark out the previous high, low, and close. That is the green, the red, and the white line. The white box is the transition zone, bullish above, bearish below, choppy within. And then from there, you have the yellow horizontal lines, which are all the big money positions, as in where we see like large open interest, especially on the 0 DTE, as in big players are actively looking for something to happen there. And also, if we do get going bullish, just so you know, Spot Gamma has an implied one-day move high at 6,740, which is pretty much the upside gap fill. We still have a gap in the chart that can be played today. Once again, it is the low from Wednesday, March the 11th. You have an upside gap fill to 6745.59. I highly recommend you guys all put that on your watch list or set an alert or do whatever you need to. But look for the upside gap fill on SPX. It does exist on SPY. It does exist on QQQ. It does exist on IWM. In fact, IWM is actually the closest one to filling it, but there are upside gap fills on three of the most popular indices. So I just want to call that out. Obviously, I have it marked out on my chart. I think it's a very viable play today if we have a bit of bullish momentum. Speaking of which, let me show you guys the options flow. Hang on really quick. If you're just joining right now for the market open, let me remind you that there is a JOLTS data drop, JOLTS jobs, and then also there is a consumer sentiment report at 10 a.m. this morning. So 30 minutes into the trading day, we're getting some data. So I want you to be mindful of that. If you happen to be in a position, if you're taking a position, I just wanted to call out that there are more data drops today. Thus far today, the S&P 500 isn't really trending. Thus far, the Mag 7 isn't really trending with respect to its options flow. Right here. Okay. 5 minute is bullish, 10 minute is bullish, 30 minute is attempting to hold bullish, 4 hour is still bearish. Looking at the NASDAQ, 5 minute is bullish, 10 minute is bullish, the 30 minute is trying to hold bullish, and then the 4 hour is still bearish. So the shorter time frames, the 5, the 10, and the 30, right now, momentum on the S&P 500 and on the NASDAQ, it is favoring the bulls. So I just want to call that out. Options flow isn't really favoring anyone. If anything, it's kind of flat right now. So let's just wait on that one. Obviously, you have the upside gap fill with high odds. I think over 85% chance that this gets filled within the next 2 trading days. Obviously, it didn't happen yesterday, so there's a lot of good odds for that getting filled today. Matt, thank you so much for the detailed explanation. It means the world to me. That's what I'm here for. I'm more than happy to help. I'm more than happy to share what I know. And more importantly, I've made every fucking mistake in the book when it comes to the world of trading. So if I can just share my history of trading to help you guys every once in a while avoid a pitfall that I probably got trapped by like 10 plus times, I'm going to do it. And it's one of those things that you don't need to necessarily learn more about trading. Of course, there's like a minimum level of knowledge that you have to have about trading. But once you like get to the point of it, you're like, yeah, I understand the nuances of like Greeks and this and that. There's not like much more to learn. It's not like it's like this forever expansive thing where you have to like learn so many concepts. No, that's not what trading is. In fact, there's actually relatively very few concepts. It's more of, can you just actually execute on the things that you know? And that's the tricky thing. And of course, it's a personal battle of like what helps you actually keep discipline. But commenting on like the days that I feel most disciplined and I'm like, yo, okay, like you're doing what you should be doing every single day. It's almost like a mantra where I just remind myself, the only thing I'm in control of is my risk. That's the only thing I'm in control of. So my idea of being a successful trader is, can I just be a good risk manager? And then hopefully variance is on my side and it goes to my profit targets. But that's what worked for me. I'm not necessarily saying it's going to work for all of you, but I think just like, if we really boil this down to its like just core components, the best traders are the best risk managers. So if front of mind, if on every single trade, you're just saying, what is my risk? What is my risk? What is my risk? Am I good with my risk? Like literally paranoid fucking obsession with your risk, that's how I believe you become a good trader. Because if you're always controlling your risk, inherently it's just never going to get that bad. And then eventually variance is going to be on your side and you're going to have a nice profit. That's what worked for me in terms of the game of discipline. And I'm not saying it always works for me. I feel like I'm currently at the rate of like once a month, I like spaz out and do dumb fucking shit I shouldn't be doing. And my goal is to lengthen the cadence of all that to eventually I just never do it. So way back when, 5 years ago, 8 years ago, I felt like every other day I was just doing something stupid I knew I shouldn't be doing. Then it was every like about week, and then it was every 2 weeks. And then I felt like stuck there for quite a while. And recently I feel like I'm expanding that time frame of when I'm like having a serious, just like bad day doing dumb shit. And I feel like right now I operate probably in the realm of like once every 5 to 6-ish weeks, I'm like doing something that I actively know I shouldn't be doing. And we've all been there before. If you say you haven't been looking at the charts where you're like, oh my God, that is a great long setup, and yet you're for some reason short and you can't get yourself to get out of that short, well, I don't know. I guess maybe you're more disciplined than I am. But I feel like all traders, if you've traded long enough, you've been in a similar situation where you like, you just literally, you know, you're doing the wrong thing and you just can't get yourself out of it. And it almost feels like an out of body experience. And hey, you're not alone. It happens to me commonly. It happened to me like I said, every other day when I first started, I was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, and that's the crazy thing about trading. I think that's why it's somewhat like addictive to people, is because like, it's such like, an enigma of a thing to solve. And it's one of those things that if you can solve it, it feels as if you have financial freedom. So that's why it's so attractive, because like, I think it's such a complex puzzle. And I think a lot of humans' minds want to solve a puzzle. And then in this particular case, if you solve the puzzle, you get rewarded with a shitload of money and a lot of financial freedom, which I think is a goal for many, many people. So it keeps bringing you back. And yet, because the rewards are so high, I think it does weird fucked things with our brain. I really do. It teaches you so much about yourself. Yeah, I mean, people say that all the time, and I agree, but I think a lot of us end up learning the same lesson, is we've realized that we're not really that disciplined of people, and that could be frustrating in itself. I think we realize that we're much more emotional creatures. It's a hard hit. I mean, to the women in the audience, like I'm not trying to degrade this at all, but a lot of trading is the field of trading is dominated by men. I'm not saying that's a good thing. It's like literally just a stat. Like more traders are men than women. So speaking for the men, it could be a hard hit. If your mental image of yourself is a person who is emotionally calm, maybe even stoic, and you're a very disciplined person, and then all of a sudden you have clear-cut empirical evidence that maybe you're not, that could be a pretty big hit to your psyche. Like you might be this dude, you're like, dude, I go to the gym, I eat healthy, I don't drink, I'm disciplined. When there's traumatic events, I'm the calm one in the room, I know how to handle myself. And then you start trading and it might be like $1,000 account and you feel as if you're just like your entire mental image of who you are. You're like, dude, am I wrong? Am I wrong on this? Like, holy shit, I'm spazzing out. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Like, where's all my discipline? Where's my stoicism? Where's my calmness? I think for a dude, that could be a hard hit. And maybe it's a hard hit also for the women in the audience. I don't know. I'm not a woman, so I haven't gone through that. But speaking for the men, like, I mean, yeah, dude. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. I have long arms, Matt. Egg, you seem like a person who has long arms. It's the ultimate test of a Sigma male. Shout out, Abby. Maybe it's the ultimate test of a Sigma male and a Sigma female. This is just the Sigma test. You forgot the red light therapy and ice baths? Hell yeah. You're never going to make money trading without having, what was it? Red light therapy? Is that a thing? In ice baths? I feel like that is actually a thing. I don't think you're fucking with me. That feels real. That feels real, brother. All right. Let's see what the market is giving us today now that we're almost 10 minutes in. Okay, so the S&P 500 was taking a hit till 937. We're getting a little bit of a pop there. The Mag 7 kind of flat on the 0 DT. The longer duration is taking a little bit of a hit. A little bit of a hit. Where in the world is VWAP? VWAP is a good 80 points below where we are. A good 80 points below where we are. A little bounce there to equilibrium. It is 940. There's buyers at 660. The intraday high is just above 700. Key psychological level. People reacting to that 700 rung. The 50% retracement on today's current intraday high and low is 56. Interesting. Interesting. I have a little bit of a bullish bias just because of the momentum and the S&P 500 options flow.
Order submitted. Order filled.
That was a little bit slower than normal, but all right, we're going to take it. Hang on, I need to manage my Lucid accounts separately. What was that, Phil? Okay, I am on the wrong one. A little bit of a long position. All right.
Order submitted.
All right, we're going to see if for the Lucid accounts exclusively, I'm going to try to get out of those around 7:10. For the other accounts, I'm going to see if I have a runner. And the reason I want to hit this is just because if I hit that on the Lucid accounts, and once again, just the Lucid accounts, well, that means that I get the pay. Okay, filled. I just secured a payout. Right there, another day of at least $250. That means I could do the payout request today. I just secured myself $6,000 because two of them I can request today because I made $250, and then on Monday, if I make another $250 on each one, I can request $3,000 from each on the other three, so that's $9,000. So I just successfully secured myself a $6,000 payout. So that's sick. So those are done on the day. I'm not going to keep trading those because I want the money. And then obviously I have a runner on all these other ones. We're going free
Order
trade.
Submitted.
Boom. Bada bing, bada boom, brother. Bada bing, bada boom. Bingity, bingity, bingity. Bing, bong, boom. Bung, bing, bong, bing, boom. Boomity, bing, bong. Bing, bong, boom, bingity, bingity, dingity. Bingity, dingity. Bingity, dingity.
Order submitted.
Bing, bong, boom. Is this going to be like yesterday where I have a lot of stop out trades? I hope not. I don't like this chart necessarily. I'm going for a really easy day. I'm trying to lock in $1,000 on every account, and then I'm calling it a day. Is he high? I fucking wish. High on life, brother. He definitely needs more friends. I can't disagree with that. I can't disagree with that.
Order filled.
You know what I don't need more? Oh, fuck.
Order canceled.
No. What's this trade? No. Uh-oh. I'm waiting for it. Shit. I had a order. No, son of a gun. Which account is it? 16. Fuck. No. I accidentally had an order and it knocked me short. Fuck. I did this yesterday. Oh shit. And this is one of the accounts for the payout. No. On the day of my daughter's wedding.
Order submitted.
Come on. Let me out for break even. It was an accident. I swear, market. Fuck. Son of a bitch. Let me out for break even. I swear it was. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to do it. The order was in there. I thought I was already out. I'm so sorry. It was an honest mistake. I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to do it. I'm so stupid. Fuck. That was a fuck up. Come on. You have to let me out for break even. Son of a bitch, dude. Well, this isn't good. Fuck, dude. Oh, what a stupid fucking mistake. How many other orders do I have? It's just that one account. Son of a bitch, dude. Dude, when you get a fill, it should close your fucking orders. God damn it. What a dumb mistake. I could have been done. All I wanted to do was lock in the $1,000 on each one. Come on, come back down. Come back down. Rejection at 800. Come on, come back down. Let me out of this. Let me out of this. How far are you going to let it go? I don't know, dude. I wasn't meant to be here. This wasn't meant. I wasn't supposed to. It was an accident. Come on, just market gods. Let's be cool with each other today. You know, the market gods and I always have this like back and forth kind of thing going on of do they hate each other? Do they love each other? And it feels like it's son of a bitch, dude. Come on, just let me out. It was an accident. It was an accident. I didn't want to be in this. What had happened, by the way, if you're curious what happened, like when I was like, oh, I want to trade the Lucid counts separately, I opened up another tab to put all the Lucids together in my trade copier. And when I did that, it didn't cancel the orders from one of the ones that was initially enabled. So it's my fault. But that was literally the exit. So the sell order got pushed to all the accounts and it was canceled for most of the Lucid accounts. But the Lucid, like they already closed out because I already made the money. So it was just a pending like short position that was used for all the other accounts to exit. But then for that account, because there was no position, if you have a net sell, that's going to push you negative if you're neutral. So it was a fuck up. It's like 100% my fault. It was a fuck up. And I'm like not even trying to get greedy with it. I'm literally just trying to get out of break even. It was a fuck up. I'm hoping a little bit of mean reversion just brings it right back. Come on. You could do it. You could do it, market gods. It was an accident. Come on, you can't punish me for an accident. I'm not even, dude, I'm going for break even here. I'm going for break even, brother. Come on. Come on. You could do it. Come on. Give me a kiss. Oh, just give me a little kiss. Right here. Right here. Give me a little kiss at 747. Just a little peck on the cheek. You could do it, NASDAQ. Come on. Come on there, brother. Come on, brother. What's a little peck on the cheek between two brothers? Come on, brother. What's a little peck on the cheek? Fuck. Don't turn, son of a bitch. Come on. It's just right there. Like, just give me give it a little. Come on. Come on, just come on. Come on. Come on. It's not that weird. It's only weird. There we go. Good people get paid. Before you guys ask me, how do you make money in the market? If you're a good person, you make money. If you happen to be trading right now and you're losing money, it's because you're potentially a shitty fucking person. Don't at me. Maybe look in your fucking life. Look in a mirror. Don't at me. Look in your mirror and maybe ask yourself some hard questions. Are you a good person or not? I happen to be an amazing person because the market gods always shine upon me. So, do you want to know the secret to good trading? Be a good person and the market gods will reward you. I just had a messed up trade, a complete accident, and I still made money. Was I against trend? Yes. Was it 100% an accident? Yes. Did it almost cost me a payout today? Yes. And guess what? The market god said, uh-oh, our boy Matt Kohrs needs a little bit of help. And that's exactly what they did. They shined their omnipotent sunlight upon me and bada bing, bada boom, ended the day green. It's not even 10 a.m. and your boy's done. It's not, dude, I've worked for 21 minutes today and I've made thousands of dollars. And you're telling me that I'm not one of God's favorites? You're telling me that if I wasn't born at the right time, I wouldn't be one of the people at that dinner with the big JC? Come on, folks, dude. I might have been born at night, but I wasn't born last night. It's just certain people. When you're just God's favorite, it's pretty fucking evident. It's pretty fucking evident. Am I kissing my brother? Maybe. Little peck on the cheek? Maybe. Folks, this is going to be the bottom of the day and it's going to skyrocket from here. Watch this. The market gods help me out. They're like, cool, we're just going to help Matt real quick. Boom, this is the bottom. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the low and we fucking rocket from here. You guys are about to see literal divine intervention. Accidental trade. Market says, uh-oh, we forgot about Matt. Comes back, gives me my fill, and they're going to, dude, this is going to be the low here. Dude, they're going to rocket it from here. You literally witnessed divine intervention. What did I miss? You missed divine intervention. If you are short, I am sorry, but the gods are only here to help me out. They're not here to help you out. Shut up. Well, wait, what? Clip this for when Apex denies his payout. Jesus Christ, that would be mean. You're just mad. You guys are just mad that God doesn't shine upon you with your trades. You're there punching the fucking sky. Oh, why is nothing ever going in my favor? I don't know. Maybe you're not a good person. Maybe you're not a good person. Damn, Matt, that truth hurt because my life is shit. But when you're right, you're right. That's why I watch. When you're right, you're right. You're like, yeah, I just gotta get closer with God herself. Honestly, Tradeovate adding manual lockouts has saved me at least twice this week. You know what would save you more? Is if God liked you. Matt is a great person. Boston Symphony gets it. Finally, you guys are starting to understand that I am the model human being. That's the low. You guys mess up trade, market rips it. I'm like, whoa, market gods, help me out. They help me out. Boom. They just enough to give me my fill. And dude, they're going to skyrocket it from here. I called it out. I predicted it. I guaranteed it. Folks, as much as I have a service where I think I could teach you to be a better trader, in all reality, what I do can't be taught. And I know this is kind of like anti-marketing because then you'd be like, well, why would I sign up for your Discord if what you do can't be taught? I don't know. I really don't know. But I think the way I interact with the metaphysical world around me, I just don't know if it could be duplicated. I really don't. I think you just have to, you're either a chosen one or you're not. Honestly. And I don't want to kick you while you're down. Maybe things are going poorly in your life right now. But it's probably because you deserve it. I just want to, you probably fucking deserve it if we're being completely honest. If you're being completely honest, I'd like to think that all the times my mom made me write thank you cards for all my birthday gifts, up until like whatever age, I like to think that the karma, like I'm still running net positive in karma because of all those thank you cards. So maybe if your moms didn't make you write thank you cards for all your birthday gifts at Fun and Games, which was my rural Podunk Town variant of Chuck E. Cheese, which was fucking awesome, by the way, maybe that's on you. I'm just saying. Pride is a sin. Yeah, that one feels made up to me. I get the other ones, but I feel like they put that in because back in the day, like Jebediah was really fucking feeling himself and like, fucking Jebediah, we get it. You're crushing it. And like, I feel like they put that one in because they're fucking petty, you know? I feel like the people at that point, they snuck it in, like the 7 deadly sins. My big theory is that there were 6 deadly sins. And right at like, dude, it was a buzzer beater vote for them to put in that 7th one. And I think it was just because like, fuck, there's like a lot of beta losers in this world. So let's just throw in pride to try to make them feel a little bit better. It's just a guess, dude. I'm not a biblical historian or anything like that. But I feel like that one, it's kind of the weakest one if you really think about it. Like, I think they just did it because some people in this world crush and all the other people in this world who don't crush were getting jealous. So they were so fucking whiny about it. And like, please make that a sin too. And like, I bet the people who probably were writing them all, they probably crushed and they're like, fucking stop whining, Jesus. So I honestly think they put it in. Bold take here. I think it was the first participation trophy. I do. I think it was the first time that they're just like, fuck it. Whatever, you showed up to the Bible meeting again. I guess we'll put it in. Like, you can tell that the person who suggested that one was so fucking whiny. It was so fucking whiny. But like I said, I wasn't there. I wasn't invited. That's just the vibe I get. You know, reading through all that text, I feel you could tell that there was a lot of passion in the other ones when they're writing it and like, fuck yeah, dude, this is a good goddamn rule. And then that one, lack of passion. I think they just put it in there as just like, I guess. Like, it literally reads in a way that you could tell they were rolling their eyes. Just throwing that out there. And if you don't believe me, maybe go read it yourself. Just feels like they were rolling their eyes. How many times have you been called fat? I mean, there's an entire Twitter account called Fat Matt. Some Christian is punching the air right now because of this rant. Yeah, because they didn't figure it out themselves, dude. But I'm happy to share. You're chipping away at the karma from all those notes. Am I? The market gods would disagree. Dude, side note, I know I'm being a fucking asshole, but in this vein of thought, there was this ICT trader, which if you don't know who ICT is, he's like this cultist fucking whatever dude. And then there's a lot of people, because people want to consume ICT, there's a lot of ICT influencers. And there was this one guy who like, he literally argues that it is like his relationship with God that allows him to make money trading. And I think it's the funniest fucking thing ever that he's like, I just gotta get closer with God and God will show me the trades. Like, imagine interacting with the market in that way where you're like, if you do well, God is like favoring you. And if you don't, God isn't. Like, what a fucking wild way to engage with the market. Oh, I fucking love it. Like, and he wasn't saying it facetiously for a bit. Like, he was like, honestly, he was just like, I just gotta, like, if it doesn't work, God's not on my side. I got to get on God's side. Which does bring up the valid point that Judas blew his account. Yeah, he did. That's, I mean, depending on the interpretation of text that you read, and obviously it's because it's gone through, like, throughout the ages, not only has it gone from multiple languages, but languages themselves take on a lot of different turns. But there are certain interpretations. They actually think that Judas betrayed Jesus because he blew a prop account. They actually think it might be one of the first forms of tilt, right there with Cain and Abel, of like fucking allegedly Abel signed into Kane's account and he didn't connect the trade copier and he fucking blew out, and Kane got so pissed off he bashed his brother's head in with a stone. Now, once again, I didn't do the translation, so don't get fucking pissed at me. I'm not the one saying I read old ass Hebrew and Arabic and converted it. Jolts. Let's see what Rick has to say about it. Let's see what Rick has to say. We're on break. I don't know. Where's Rick? Give us Rick or give us death. Jesus, take your sweet fucking time, CNBC.
Good Friday morning. Welcome to Squawk on the Street. I'm Sarah Eisen with Carl Quintanilla and Mike Santoli. We are live, as always, at Post 9 of the New York Stock Exchange. David Faber's off again. We've got a big show coming your way. Former Defense Secretary Mark Esper will join us as Iran digs in around the Strait of Hormuz. And Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says you don't need to worry about it. Plus, ServiceNow CEO Bill McDermott with us after ringing the opening bell this morning here at the big board. What he thinks the market is getting wrong about the software trade. And we will talk to the CEO of...
Wait, lady, shut up. Folks, real human or AI? No fucking way. Dude, at some point in the last 24 hours, either Bill McDermott, if that's his real name or not, or a representative of Bill McDermott, if that's his real name or not, sent this photo in and they're like, that's it. That's it. This guy's ripping off Baby Billy from Righteous Gemstones. Baby Billy's Bible beaters. Baby, all I need is an 8-ball and $1 million. Is that too much to ask for? Dude, this guy, we gotta listen. That's going to be wild.
Better than expectations, 57.8.
That's Aura looking at
much
you.
Stronger than 56.6 in the rearview mirror.
Billy's
Stronger
Bible
since of last year. 34.1, 54.1 on expectations. That's light, and that is the lightest since Nov of last year. The inflation numbers, 3.4 on 1 year, 0.3 less than we were looking for. We were looking for a bit of a pop there. Equals our last
Bible
look.
beaters.
3.4. Well, to find a lower number, you're in Jan of 25. To find a higher number, you're in Jan of this year, of course. And if we look at what's going on with the 5 to 10 year, 5 to 10 years at 3.2%. We were at 3.3 last look, 3.4 expected. 3.2 is good news. That would equal D's of last year. To find a lower number, you're all the way back to D's of 24. Now, maybe the Moneyball number of the day. We're looking at job openings. 6,750,000 expected. A whisker under, well, about 54,000 under.
Job soft again, dude.
6.946
this labor
under
market's
7 million. 6,946,000. Much better than expected. That would be the strongest since October of last year. And in the rearview mirror, a subtle positive revision.
We're coming up to
interest
support
rates
on
are going
NQ
down
right now.
Primarily because the GDP numbers were definitely weaker than expected. We are now hovering at 423 in a 10-year. That's down 3 basis points
lost
from yesterday,
an eye
426.
in the worst kind of way.
But it's up 9
What's
from
the worst
last
way to
Friday's
lose an eye?
414. Sarah, back to you.
Okay, thanks, Rick. And just
someone in chat is saying he lost an eye. How?
Inflation expectations, which did pop, as Rick just reported. The survey
Well,
was taken
I didn't know there was a universally agreed way for the worst way to lose an eye. What is it?
Started and when gas prices started to peak.
Herpes from a hooker.
The good news is
We've all been there.
Actually inched down.
Herpes in the eye
Inflation
from
is
a
what
hooker.
we're talking about today, every day since this war, because we did get the PCE numbers. Rick mentioned the weaker GDP numbers. PCE numbers were a little hot. This is the monthly inflation numbers for, we were expecting for March, and they were up, 0.3% month over month. 2.8% was the year over year. The tougher number was the core number, which the year over year went up to 3.1 on that, and that was a big jump. We knew this number; these were kind of in line, which is the good news. We kind of knew these numbers were hot because of the composition of how
they're hot.
PCE is determined, and after we got the sort of unusually timed CPI number this week.
Hot.
So, look, I think that it shows that even before the war, there's some heat when it comes to especially services inflation, and that's going to be the message ultimately for the Fed. What I'm watching, guys, to see whether it's going to be, a real problem, something they have to react to that could trickle into the rest of the economy, is the inflation expectations. You can look at the 5-year break-evens, which is a good market-based measure of expectations, and we have seen a little bit of a move higher, as you can see recently, but nothing out of line. You're seeing it more in the 1-2 year expectations, especially the 1 year expectations. When you go out 5 and 10 years, you're seeing a little bit of a push higher, but nothing extreme where the Fed would say, we have a problem.
Yeah, you're at the basically upper end of a 3-year range, so it's not breaking out.
Exactly.
As you mentioned, it's been a pretty good beacon of anchored inflation expectations. I do think it's worth remembering the PCE is a January number. It was delayed 2 weeks because of the shutdown. So it's sort of like setting the scene for, we knew still elevated inflation relative to target. Everything that's gone on in the last couple of weeks, of course, kind of pushes in the wrong direction, both on consumption and on inflation, but hasn't really caused a radical rethink of a policy stance or even whether the economy is going to be in half decent shape this year. We're still talking more like a slowflation type of a backdrop
this
than
guy
anything else.
That's
and
sick.
the market arguably has been really trying to take account of that for the last 2 weeks in terms of where the pain has been, which is in consumer cyclicals, which is in travel, obviously financials as well. So, you see this little bounce today. It's interesting how the market has been unwilling to rush to a point of saying things are going to be bad for a long time. It's been leaving open the possibility that we could get a relatively near-term resolution, whether that window is 3-4 weeks.
Mr. Dixie Normus says, thanks for everything. Obviously, you are more than welcome, Mr. Dixie Normus. It's always fun to give back to the community. Speaking of which, because God shines upon me, I will be shining upon you. God helped me make money, so I'm going to help some of you make money. We are doing a Payday Friday giveaway. If you haven't already, pinned at the top of chat in the description of the video. Take 30 seconds out of your life to go like, retweet, and follow. We're giving away 10 prop accounts, 5 from Lucid, 5 from Vanquish Trader, and we're also doing $150 of cold, hard cash. So if you haven't already, it is free for everyone to get involved. Like, retweet, and follow. And we're going to be doing that in about 20-ish minutes, if that's cool with everyone. So you have some time. Like I said, go to my Twitter, @Matt_Kohrs. It's the pin one. That's Piper's. She says she's been on protein lately. I think she's been on steroids. But she says these are quote-unquote natural. And her voice is the octave at which she meows is a lot deeper than normal. I don't know. That was a picture of her last night. She says it's natural. I'm starting to think that it's not, but I'm also not a vet, so what do I know? S&P 500 flow is taking a hit ever since this pop to 946. Mag 7 is actually going up. So even though price is going down, Mag 7 is holding. Some people are trying to buy this dip. Protein, steroids, same thing. The exact same thing. Full payout on QQQ. I don't know what you did, but sounds like you crushed it. Congrats to you. All right, we don't need this anymore. These people don't know what the fuck they're talking
about. It's one of those.
I don't think you should be able to comment on the market unless you're in a live day trading position. Live in the States, but watching and trading in Japan right now, 11:10 p.m. Yo. Jay Coops Fishing. Is it true that the day trading, retail trading scene in Japan is like off the fucking hook? I've been hearing from some friends who travel there and watching some docs and stuff that I guess in Japan, the retail trading scene is like fucking awesome. Can you confirm? Can you deny? I want to know. Is it true? Is it true? Yes, no, maybe so. Dude, I was also trading in Japan last week. Dude, I heard like the locals, not just travelers, that it's fucking nuts. And like the group is like, same thing, Japan, South Korea, I heard it's really, really big. Did you guys know that in South Korea, the retail traders in South Korea, there's like a large showing of them. So similar to our GameStop and AMC, how like once in a while there's like a really crazy like squeeze event. Retail traders in South Korea They thought it would be funny. There was this billionaire, whatever, owner of a company who still had equity in the company. They thought it would be funny that he got arrested and put in jail. And why he was in jail, they squeezed his stock on him. Like literally for the fucking lulz. Like this dude, the leader of the company, was actually in prison in South Korea. And the South Korean traders, just to fucking troll him, squeezed his stock and he couldn't do anything about it. And they made a shitload of money and then it crashed. How fucking funny is that? I have no idea. Just on vacation. Oh, okay. You're not. Do we have anyone from Japan in chat right now? Actually, where are you guys from? Let's get a quick shout out. Where are you guys from? What, either if you're in the United States, what state are you from? And if you're not from the United States, what country are you from? Type away. I'm curious. Are we pulling a US crowd? Are we pulling a European crowd? Are we pulling an Asian crowd? Atlantis. That's cool. We finally found you. North Carolina, Florida, California, Germany, Texas, Ohio, Washington, Massachusetts, Australia, Greece, NJ, Australia. Why are there so many Australians in here? I feel uncomfortable. Toronto, Brazil. Nice try, IRS. Yeah. And by the way, today's stream is sponsored by IRS. South Jersey. You're not too far from where I used to live. I used to live in Jersey for a bit there. Mexico, Vegas. I just learned a really cool like Mexican Spanish slang. And ends with mamas. Mamas. And it means like this fucking sucks. I just learned it last night too. Shit, what is it? What's like the Spanish Mexican name for like slang? And it ends with mamas, like MAMAS. Mamas. Someone in here has to know what I'm talking about. It's like a Madagascar. No, you're not. No mamas. Like it doesn't mean kind of like no fucking way. Like go like no like right. Like that's its general vibe. No mamas. I believe. For any of the moms in the audience, this is basically the new age Dora the Explorer. We will be teaching your children trading, degenerate gambling, and also Spanish swear words. No mamas. Am I pronouncing it? No mamas. I believe it means like no fucking way. Without any. No moms. No mamas. How am I saying it wrong? No mamas. It's going too fast. With Baby Billy. Baby Billy's Bible Bonkers. The things you learn. This is, it's still a PG-13 show. I think if you're 13, you should be learning this. I'm pretty sure that means no mothers in English. Well, yeah, it doesn't, languages don't always like translate perfectly word for word. It's vibe. Momes. Mom S. Mom S. No mamas. Like that? I want to get it right if I have to say it to someone. No mamas. Mom S. Mom S. No mamas Mateo. Oh, ay caramba. No mames. Something like that? Did I get the... I feel like if I said that, I'd probably just get me punched in the face. Like if I said it exactly like that, like, ay caramba. No mames. It'd probably get me fucking stabbed if I had to guess. Yeah, perfect. They're like, yes. All the Spanish speakers are in here are like, yeah, brother, go say that. Report back to us on Monday of how that plays out. But like yeah, go. Perfect, Matt. There's going to be no issues. No mom S. It's not going to add. It's not going to end well. Not going to end well at all. But that's what we're here for. Fucking nailed it, dude. We're such a multicultural show here. We have Australians. We have Mexicans. We have New Yorkians. Manhattanites. Too much cough syrup? Dude, I took a teaspoon of honey and a cough drop this morning. I'm like 10 minutes away from meeting God or becoming him. go to this Spanish bar and say it, I think I'd get my ass beat. I still wouldn't be shorting this, by the way. I know that intraday we're getting hit here, but just to clarify, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minutes, all bullish. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minutes, all bullish. If it keeps falling, that's something to talk about. But this, I wouldn't be chasing this to the downside. I'd be waiting for and even look at this, the Mag 7 strong. SPY is getting hit. NASDAQ is getting hit, but it's kind of like flattening out. Maybe you're playing for VWAP. If you're playing for VWAP, I understand that. If you're like, okay, I'm just playing it down to 630. Okay, I get that play. But if I had to, I would rather buy at VWAP than short at VWAP, just because it's with momentum to go long. But hey, that's just one man's opinion. I think I'm done trading today. My brain is like fucking fried. The amount of times I've already misspoken, the amount of times I like fucked up simple tasks this morning. My brain, which only normally functions at like 5% capacity, is down to like 3%. So I've given up quite a bit. So the fact that I'm seeing any green whatsoever tells me that I should just like keep that green, take that green. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing today. So I think I'm done. I've secured the payment on Lucid on 2 of the 5. The other 3, if I do well on Monday, if I make another 250, I could request out of there. I don't know where I'm at on these accounts. What do I need? Let me check. I have to be getting somewhat close on the FFN account to actually get a payout there, which would be a nice 10K payout. Oh, where are we? No, it says my consistency is still off. How much money do you need? What is 40% of 3,200? 3,200 divided by 0.4. I need 8,000 in profit, and I have 7,600. Well, that's a bummer. Yeah, I'm still off on the consistency. I need a little bit more. I don't know if today is necessarily the day to do the pedal to the metal. I guess if I wanted to, I'm definitely done on all the Lucid accounts. I theoretically could trade these other accounts, but all I keep thinking is like, why ruin a good Friday, you know? I don't know. This is actually getting interesting, though. I think the VWAP bounce could be a strong play here. We'll see. Time will tell. But I'm definitely done with Lucid. All I would have to do here is make another $500. So if I made 25 points, that would be good. These ones still have a ways to go. These ones still have a ways to go. These ones are just evals. These no, they're not. They're actually funded now. But I already have 7, so I can't even convert those anyway. So I don't really care the most about these. I'm just trading them to get the trading days in and slowly get them up to 5,000. The Tradeifys I care about, but that's a good gain on the day. The Legends I care about, but they're just starting. The Lucids, I'm done. So the only ones like I'm really thinking about is, do I want to try to make an extra $500 and get this to 100 right here? This one is the lowest one, 162,550. If I got that to 163, if I made $500, I could request out of those. Or I could call it a day and just try to do a $500 trade on Monday with these Lucid ones. I feel like as I'm talking about it, that's probably a better decision. That single short used up your divine favor for the day. Don't test the market. That's kind of where I'm at. Where's VWAP at? VWAP is always this white dash line. That's how I put it on my charts. This white dash line is the VWAP. The red dash line are the extremes for IB, for the initial bounce, the first hour's high and low. The blue dash line is that 50% point in between the red dash lines. And then the white dash line is the VWAP. And then these are just EMAs, the 10, the 20, and the 50 for whichever chart I happen to be on. I think the VWAP bounce is a good play, but we'll see. NASDAQ is getting beaten up. Mag 7 did take a dump there at 10.15. The SPY, what's the SPY doing? It's loading. Right there. If I did the VWAP bounce, I would have already made that $500. In at 40, out at 65. Do I have any thoughts on HIMS? Yeah. My thoughts are there's better opportunities in the market, regardless of if you're bullish or bearish. It's just not a top tier opportunity. Look at that. Bitcoin's going, dude. Bitcoin's having a day. Oil's taking a hit right now. As oil's taking a hit, we called out that VWAP bounce. Just so you guys know, there's a large put credit spread at 6,650, and there's a large call credit spread at 6,780. Captain Condor is back. It looks like that Discord that blew out. It looks like Captain Condor is back. Once again, the put credit spread is 6,650, 10,000. And then the call credit spread is 6,780, 9,000 and change. So Captain Condor is back in play. Wild. After blowing out, what was it, 50 million? Captain Condor appears to be back. That's nuts. Matt, I know any profitable day is a successful day. Is there amount you try and set up for to be a satisfying day? No, because every day is built different. So my goal as a trader is just to get the meat of the move on that day. I caught the meat of the move on this push. Maybe not even the meat of the move. Maybe it was maybe 50% of it. So some days the move is very large and you can make more money. Some days the move isn't large and you can't make as much. So obviously the more the merrier, but my goal is to catch the meat of the move. So it's more of a percentage of this first impulse that I'm looking for. Like how much of that move did I catch rather than did I hit my profit target? Certain situations with SIMDA funded trading, I cut these ones off early because I knew I only needed $250. So as soon as it hit, and I wasn't going to overstay my welcome just because I wanted to secure the payout. But if I were trading my own fully funded account, I would never be doing something like that because I'd always be going for the meat of the move. Matt, what should be the RR in a 25K challenge? Once again, I never trade with a static RR. I think that's another stupid way to do it. What if the setup with the exact same setup, what if for risking 1R in one situation, you could only go for 2, but in another one, you could go for 8 because the market keeps going. I've never agreed with such a stringent RR. I've seen good strategies that do risk to reward like that of like, oh, here's my RR. But the ones that I've seen actually base it on ATR. So it expands and contracts with volatility, which makes a lot of sense to me. But in a general sense, I never look at it that way because you don't know what the market's going to give you. Like, let's say you always go for a 2-to-1 risk to reward. You're always going for double the reward than you are for the risk. Well, what if in one situation, it's only giving you 1 risk to reward and then it's going against you? Why would you not get out? What if in another situation, there's strong momentum and you could get a 10 risk to reward trade? Why would you not want to take advantage of that? I know there are profitable traders. I know there are profitable strategies that take advantage of a measured risk to reward like that. It just doesn't make sense to me, though. Like, I think there's a better way to engage in the market. And then the second part of your question is the 25K challenge. I don't find any of the 25K challenges to be compelling if you're trading NQ, just because the little movement from minute to minute, it's way too easy to blow out one of those accounts. So if you're okay trading MNQ, yeah, have at it and best of luck on the challenge. But I don't trade MNQ, I trade NQ. So I will never be successful, or if I am, it's pure luck to be successful with the 25K account. But like I said, if you're okay with trading MNQ, yeah, have at it and size down to like 1 or 2 MNQ. But if you're trading a contract of NQ, very, very difficult to be successful on a 25K account. My favorite account sizes at this moment in time, and this is only reflecting my current trading strategy. This is not like the end all be all gospel for all of you, but for my current trading strategy, the 150K accounts are the best because of that 4.5K drawdown, which is like a reasonable amount of drawdown for trading in NQ contract. Matt, if I gave you 100K and said you need 2K a week to survive, what would your strategy be? Selling premium. To make a 2% return, I would be selling. I would identify the trend of the market at 10:30, 10, 9:45, and then I would sell like the 10 delta SPX premium, and I would do that every day without, like, it would be easy. I wouldn't be buying calls. I wouldn't be buying puts. I wouldn't be going long or short futures contracts. If I needed a 2% return on a 100K account, I would be selling. And like, you're looking for that goal weekly. So that's basically $400 a day. So a $400 per day return on a 100K account would be rather simple on selling premium. I would pick far out of the money premium and I would sell it. I don't even know if I would wait to close. Maybe I'd come a little bit closer in terms of deltas. Like maybe instead of the 10, I'd go to the 15. And as soon as it decays 50%, I would take my premium and move on with my life. And you wouldn't even have to trade that much size to get $400 a day, adding up to the 2K per week. Or you could wait for stronger signals and maybe look for 2 days a week that each give you 1K. So you're still hitting your 2K a week target, but you're waiting for those 2 days that have better signals, as in stronger trend. So today we're not really trending much, but there were a couple days this week. Yesterday we weren't trending at all, but the day before that we were. So you might want to wait for the stronger trending days, sell premium on the opposite side, and maybe look for 1K and hope that there's at least 2 of those a week to hit your hypothetical situation. Chaos owner, I would sell something more illicit. That's another option. Empirical evidence suggests that a significant portion of retail trading exhibits characteristics, motivations, and psychological traits closely aligned with gambling. I mean, what's the difference? Honestly, what is the difference between gambling and trading? There is no difference. You're taking on some risk. You're taking on a perceived risk for a potential perceived reward. This might be getting philosophical of how are we actually defining gambling, but you're taking on a perception of risk for the perception of a potential reward. That, to me, that's gambling. I think sometimes people look at gambling and they assume that it's you don't have an edge or something like that. But I think even the most sophisticated traders are still gambling because it's perceived risk for potential perceived reward. Just because you're good or not good at it, that doesn't change the definition of gambling in my mind. Trading is gambling with an edge. Well, is it gambling in sports betting if you're doing it with an edge? At this point, it's just becoming the nuanced definition of the word. But at the end of the day, in a world of potential variance, you're accepting perceived risk for a potential perceived reward. And there is a certain amount of variance in it. The difference is that you can get out of a bet before the end. You can get out of a trade before the end. There's no house edge. Well, you can gamble not in a casino. You can play poker. The house doesn't have an edge in poker. You can sports bet. Depending on your betting strategy, they may or may not have an edge. There's an edge playing blackjack in the casino. There's a lot of counterexamples to that statement. You can't change your mind mid-gamble. In poker, you can. In craps, you can. Once again, you're getting this is very specific. These are nuanced details that don't impact the larger question of what is the difference between trading and gambling. I like that definition that someone just put forward of you go from a gambler to a trader when you develop an edge, and if you can stick to it, I like that. That's more of more of a modern thing. But if we looked at the pure definition of gambling, going to college is a gamble. Accepting whatever job you accepted, it's a gamble. There's a risk. Getting in your car to drive to the grocery store is a gamble. There's a perception of risk and a perception of perceived reward. Instead, evidence highlights a spectrum where trading ranges from investing, long-term analysis based, to speculative trading, short-term, high risk, where the latter heavily resembles gambling. Once again, you're not defining gambling. No shit. I mean, even long-term trading is a gamble. There's a potential risk for a potential reward. It's not that crazy. It's not gambling if you win. It's still very much gambling if you win. It was just a winning gamble. It was a winning trade. I don't think there's anything wrong with gambling. I think there's something wrong with gambling if you don't have an edge. I think that's where you're just bound to lose money. There's good ways to gamble and there's bad ways to gamble. And it basically comes back to the world of your expected value. If you are gambling with negative expected value, the longer you gamble, the more likely it is that you're going to lose money. If you are gambling with positive expected value over a larger data set, you're actually going to be winning money. So I think there are shrewd, informed ways to quote unquote gamble. And then there's very uninformed, degenerate ways to gamble. And obviously we're here attempting to do the former, where we're just quote unquote gambling with a positive expected value. So that's the difference. You could sit down at a blackjack table counting cards, and in one situation, you're a bad gambler and the house has an edge. And the longer you sit there, the more likely it is that you lose money. And then in the second situation, you could be counting cards and the edge is in your favor. And the longer you sit there with the count favoring you, you're going to win money over the large data set. Unlike casinos where the house always has a mathematical edge, equity markets have historically provided positive returns over the long term, allowing wealth generation, not just enrichment. Are you just copying something stupid from ChatGPT? What is the point of this conversation at this point? You're just saying dumb fucking things that you're literally copying and pasting from ChatGPT with what? No point. Yeah, so in the OK Trader, we can all ask Google too. Yeah, it's literally a copy and paste from ChatGPT, adding no useful information to this conversation whatsoever. You know what's the most pure form of gambling? Marbles racing. Folks, if you haven't already, Payday Friday giveaway. Don't forget to retweet, and follow. We're about to get rocking with this. And we're also, obviously, some of these people are going to get selected from Twitter. And then we're also going to be selecting some people from the Discord. If you're not already in the Goonie Trading Discord and you want to trade with me, GoonieTrading.com. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, come to the contact page, and this comes directly to me. But once again, GoonieTrading.com. If you want to trade with me, this is our trading Discord. A lot of educations, daily analysis, daily trading, a lot of good conversation, and overall, it's just a phenomenal trading community. Like I said, if you want to reach out to me, just come to this contact page, and that comes directly to me. But anyway, we're about to do the Payday Friday giveaway right here. Just so you know, it is sponsored by Vanquish. 20% off and a free reset with that code Goonie, and also Lucid, 40% off with the code Goonie, limit 5 per trader. Lucid is for sim-to-funded futures trading. Vanquish is for sim-to-funded options trading. So if you're an options trader, look at Vanquish. If you're a futures trader, look at Lucid. And shout out to both of those companies for partnering up with us today. So we're about to do this. Once again, you still have time to retweet, and follow. That's all you have to do, and you're going to be in there. And then also, let me come to general right here. Let me get this ready. / giveaway, duration 3 mins, winners 7, prize racer. All right, so it is started. Everyone enter. All right. So you have 3 minutes if you happen to be in the Discord. That is going. So let me minimize that for now. And we're also going to be picking the winners from Twitter. Twitter picker. Okay, Twitter picker. Got that. All right, let me copy and paste this tweet. All right, close that. All right, like and retweet. There's going to be 3. Must follow at Matt _Kohrs. Minimum tweets, any tweeted, any older than 1 month, that's fine. Minimum followers, All right. So these are going to be 3 of our 10 competitors. We are running it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Who is it? Who is it? All right. Matt, some kind of stooge, and Ivan. All right. So 3 of our 10 have already been selected. We have Matt. Shout out to Matt. We have some kind of a stooge. Shout out to Stooge. And then we have Moa, a.k.a. Ivan. So those are 3 of our 10. And then the other ones, you still have, how much time left? Does it? Oh, ends in less than a minute. Less than a minute. So we're going to be getting our other 7 from there. So we are rocking. And in the meantime, while that is running, let me get the game booted up. Play. Okay. Where's the game? It's thinking. All right. Here's marbles. Why is this not going? Okay, there we go. We don't need this. Continue. Race. Random. Love is in the air. We're going to have 10 people, and let's just get the names going. Clear. We're going to have 10. All right. We had Matt. We had a stooge. I think that, how did he actually spell it? Let's check. That was Moa, Stooge. Okay, so Matt, Stooge, and Moa are the first 3. Moa. All right, those are our first 3. And then the other ones, 10 seconds left until we find our other competitors. Everyone being selected right now is getting a prop account. Half of you are getting one from Vanquish. The other half of you are getting it from Lucid. And then the winner of this race, the only pure form of gambling, is going to be getting $150 of cold, hard cash. All right, so we have more competitors. We have Waldo. Let's see if we could be finding him today. We have Sean Archer. We have Lena. We have Chaos Owner. We have Chris. Bee's Knees. And Mike Kimmel. Excuse me. All right, those are our 10 competitors. 10. All right, good. Minimize this. Let's get in here. Let's get the right music popping for today. Let's get the right music popping for this race. Where are we? A song for Marbles race. We got it. By the way, if you want to listen to this music yourself, it is on Tendies and Tunes. This one is Bullrip, Texas Roadhouse. So let's make sure that is all ready to rock. All right, folks. Most times in life, you shouldn't be predicting. You shouldn't be gambling, especially without an edge. But today, we have 10 of the fastest marble racers of all time. Anything is allowed. This is prison rules racing. All that matters is winning. Not only is there eternal bragging rights on the line, there's $150 of cold, hard cash. Who are you going to bet on? If you had to put your entire net worth on one of these racers before we fire off the starting gun, who would it be? Who do you think has been training? Who do you think has been hitting that juice? Who do you think has that dog in them to win? Who are you pulling for to win this one? Hockaloogie. Grab the chalk bag. Bees. Waldo for sure. A lot of early votes for Waldo. Balls Out Racing. Bees. Okay, couple votes for Bees, couple votes for Waldo. Kimmel betting on himself. That's a good bet. All right, where are we at? Can you guys see everything? Okay, you can. Well, we're about to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be starting our engines, and the race will be starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are off. Lena, Chaos Owner, Mike Kimmel, Matt, Chris with an early lead. Chris coming out of nowhere, coming out of almost last, now leading the pack. And we are in Lover's Tunnel. Chris, followed by Bees, followed by Chaos Owner. It's anyone's race at this point. Chris is looking good. Matt is all the way in the back, doing a disservice to all of our names. Chris, Bees, and Chaos Owner lead the race. Let's go into the tunnel with... Oh, Bees takes the lead. Bees. Uh-oh. Brother, Sean somehow shot ahead. Chaos Owner is in hot pursuit. Chaos Owner and Bees, 1 and 2. Gold and silver on the screen. We did find Waldo back in third. Chaos Owner leading the race. Will he be able to get through the turnstile? He is getting slowed down, but Bees not able to capitalize. On the left side, Moa and Lena leading the race. Chaos Owner, big drop. Will he be able to hold the lead? Chaos Owner, this is now your race to lose. Who else is on these? All right, Stooge and Matt on the left side. Lena on the right. Chaos Owner. Oh, what the fuck, Waldo? All right, someone needs to check Waldo for steroids. Waldo! What the heck? Waldo somehow skipping half the course. Now followed by Bees. Waldo and Bees and Moa, a.k.a. Ivan, going at it. Chaos Owner fighting back. Bees taking the lead. This is anyone's race. Lena died somehow. Waldo, Mike Kimmel, and Bees, 1, 2, and 3. In that order, Bees knees. Will Bees be able to glide, fly, all the way to the end? Uh-oh. 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 Who's going to get the drop? Who's going to get the drop? Moa? Bees? Moa gets the drop first. Bees and Moa going for it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Moa, who's going to get the speed up? Moa edges out right at the end. Second place, Bees. Third place, Waldo. Fourth place, Chaos Owner. Wow. That was a race, dude. That was anyone's. Sean died. Lena died. Chris and Matt putting in a good effort. You know, at least they finished the race. At least they finished the race. Round of applause. Round of applause to all competitors. That was a good one. That was a good one. All right. So I will be reaching out to all winners. Everyone, if you were in the race, you won something. I'll be reaching out to you. Oh, whoa. That market got hit. Oil's popping again. Congratulations to all competitors. Congratulations, especially to Ivan for winning the race. That was a lot of grit right there all the way to the end. That was a close one. They're normally not that close, but hell. I feel like the lead changed quite a few times. That was a good one. That was a good one. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. What are we doing? Mag 7 starting to get hit. S&P 500 starting to get hit. This was completely wrong. So we overshot the high here. We're getting smacked now. We never got the upside gap fill. There might be tensions going into this weekend. 5-minute is breaking bearish. 10-minute is testing bearish. 30-minute is testing bearish on the S&P 500. On the NASDAQ, 5-minute is breaking bearish. 10-minute is testing. And 30-minute is also testing. We might be in a trend reversal here, folks. We might be in a trend reversal. It might be having a tough time accepting the market above 725. And now that we're below 700, next level is 680. Below that, we're watching the low and the closing value from yesterday. Bitcoin even taking a hit. Was there a news update? I mean, this kind of came out of nowhere. Is anyone seeing any news? Anyone seeing any news? Trump on China. We have a good relationship. Wow, it's still going. This is speeding up. we just broke the IB low. So we put in the IB low at 936 and we just took it out. The next technical level would be just above 500, somewhere between 5 and 520. So if you're taking this breakdown, especially if you took it early and your stop's already in break even, if you took this VWAP failure or like the short at 616, you could have a good push here. I'm talking 5 to 520 would be my first target if I were trading this. How's the options flow? Not so good. Not so good. Here's a look at the Mag 7 taking a hit ever since 1030, and the S&P 500 is tied with the Delta low. So options are taking a hit. Momentum is turning bearish. This 30-minute I find concerning. So this might be one of the rare days where it's an outside day, as in we take out the previous day's high and the previous day's low. That happens about 7% of the time. It's not the most common thing. It happens about 1.5 times on average per trading month, where you simultaneously take out the previous high and the previous low. So we might be in a statistical rarity of a situation. Shout out to everyone who participated in the Payday Friday. I will be reaching out to you. If you want to trade with me, learn from me, get mentored by me, GoonieTrading.com. Shout out to Lucid, 40% off with code Goonie. Those are good for SIM-to-funded futures accounts. Shout out to Vanquish, using code Goonie to get 20% off. And that is good for SIM-to-funded options accounts. But by the way, if you use code Goonie, you're also going to get a free reset.
Understand I'm just a dropout with a Bloomberg habit. I used to screenshot dreams, now I panic by habits.
Wow, that turned quick. Something bad happened at 10:30. They didn't like that risk. Wow, you're changing trend. Most days you don't change trend statistically, but right there, 5, 10, and 30, we're all bullish, breaking bearish. 5, 10, 30, we're all bullish, breaking bearish. We're switching trend. Oh, wow. Mag 7's getting its face fucked. SPY's at its low. Wow. Waiting for this to load, Jesus. Well, we're coming up to yesterday's low. It's a green to red test. As in green, we're above the close, so we're green on the day. And we're quickly testing this low. Why are we not all selling premium on Vanquish? A lot of people do. You could definitely do that. The U.S. announces that all 6 crew members that were on the crash have died. Oh, that's sad. But that's old. I don't think that would be from this. Something caused someone to puke a lot of these. Well, I can honestly tell you, I'm happy. How do I draw here? Control F11. I could tell you, I would have gone somewhere long in here, and I would have gotten busted the fuck up. So I'm actually really happy I turned it off. I'm looking over here on my other monitor. Icarus was firing anywhere from 1020 to 1032. It fired like 5 times in here. I probably would have taken one of these longs, and I would have felt really, really good. Maybe I would have got my stop to break even. But if I didn't, I'd be like, oh, I'm hoping for the VWAP test. And it would have bounced. And I'd be like, oh, it's going to go my way. And then on this breakdown, I probably would have taken a loss. Or worse, I would be holding it till now. So I'm actually kind of happy I chilled, because I would have been long in here. And I don't think it was going to work out. I mean, I pray I would have been able to stop to break even. Most likely, I've been like, no, buy another one at VWAP. I would have got up to break even. I'd be like, oh, look, it's going in my way. It never switched, and I probably would have just gotten destroyed. maybe I would have gotten out. Maybe I would have taken a short here at like somewhere between 600 and 620. This is a short signal. Icarus fired 1041 and 1043. There were 2 short signals from Icarus in here. Maybe I would have taken them. And if I did, cool, you ride it to 550. But I don't even know if I would have gotten out there because I'd be looking down here between 500 and 520. So at this point, I might be almost back to break even. I feel like I might be getting chopped up right about now. So I'm happy I kind of stopped, to be honest, which is pure luck. I'm not saying I saw something today that's like, oh, dude, like, don't trade. Sometimes you just get lucky. Icarus just fired again on this vomit at 75. Another short. That one might pay nicely. Obviously, if you take out 46, get your stop to break even. 10 a.m. quarterbacking for the win. Is it really 10 a.m. quarterbacking when I say I probably would have lost? Like, trying to be realistic of my risk management. I feel like that's the most honest 10 a.m. like quarterbacking of like, dude, probably would not have gone well for me. Are we missing any breaking news? Frankie Muniz? What? All right. Jesus. That's a vibe. A profitable trader is just someone who survived their own worst impulses long enough to develop discipline. I agree with that. Breaking. Iran has fully blocked the Strait of Hormuz. That's kind of funny. Transbians only. What the fuck's a transbians? Kramer, not buying the 2007 scenario. 2008, oil approaching 150, subprime quietly imploding. 2026, oil approaching 150, private credit quietly imploding. That's kind of funny. Private credit is getting completely fucked right now. This is Baby Billy.
And I make nothing. Zero. Zilch. By the time I pay all my scientists, all my people in my research department, lab coats, it's a wash. Well, why you do it then, Baby Billy? Well, because I'm selfless. And I want to heal as many people as the dear Lord lets me. And I make nothing.
I get that vibe. It's because I'm selfless. That's why I do everything I do for you guys. I'm just 100% selfless. 100% selfless. Buy the dip with what? Like I said, the short at 75 is looking pretty decent. I'd already be at break even by now because it did sweep this recent low, by the way. Just to let me move myself over here. If I took this breakdown short at whatever it was, 75 that I called out, maybe I leave it at 80, 5 points of risk. But the fact that we swept this low, I'd want it to persist and not knock me out. And if it does knock me out and then turns again without taking out 97, I would just get in again. That's the beautiful thing about futures. There's no pattern day trading. But if you took this short somewhere in here, I mean, your risk is either 81, 98, or you're at break even at this point. But yeah, I mean, I would be leaning towards either 81 or break even because we did take out this low from 1048. We did sweep it. Where's the money, Skylar? I gave it to Israel. Jesus, dude. Twitter's something. Yeah, this is all breaking down. Yes, it is. Oh, okay. Piper just fired. All right. If you're in the Discord, I'm putting in Piper. Literally just got the signal. Let me just make sure I have the right date. I do. Let me double check everything. How do I type the right numbers? Okay, that's all in there. Yep, just put it in there. Once again, if you're in the Discord, Piper just fired. I put it obviously in the Piper channel. Oh, do I want to take the trade? That's the real question now. That's the real question. That's the real humdinger of a question. All right. Let's throw in that trade. Let's duplicate it. I'm just slapping on some trades really quick as this shit is getting destroyed. Which one did I do? Jesus Christ. This is moving fast. Wow. All right, I think I just got to fill. All right, we're trying to get in some orders. All right, just got to fill there. Let me quickly screenshot this. Let's see if we get the full fill or is it a partial fill? Who knows? Who knows? All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Where are you guys at? Thick trades. All right, this is also now in the Discord. All right, that's in there. Wow. What the fuck? I'm getting a really, it's kind of freaking me out. I literally just put on a play and it says I'm down $110,000. Fucking what? That's definitely a little concerning. Jesus. I just put it in the Discord. I put it in trading chat. I literally just put on a position and it says I'm down $110,000. I think there's clearly some data issues going on because that is fucking wild. That's brutal. How are you down if you're going short? That's what I'm saying. It's a typo, or there's some weird mathematical issue, but that is not fun to see. but there's not even $110,000 in the account. I think it's the way that they are computing their. I mean, I literally just got into it. It's like, congrats, you've already lost 101% on the position. That's funny. I'm not worried. I'm actually green on the trade, but this is why you got to know what you're doing when you're trading spreads, because once in a while the brokers show you a mess up about data and it could freak you out. Marines are going to the Middle East, sending a MEU. Whatever. I ain't scared. Dude, that short that I call, dude, I gave you guys this short right here. I said 75. And it never even retested it. So even if you were as conservative as could be, you are now up 100 points. You are welcome. I know some of you in here took that and you're like, yeah, it's a pretty fucking sick setup. I just got you 100 points. Rewind the stream, 1050. I said Icarus is firing short at 575. Right in this pump, I said, you're either going break even, you're either going 81, or you're going 98. I said, because we swept this low at 1054, I prefer it going to break even. You were never tested at break even at 75, and now you're up 100 points. You are fucking welcome. You are welcome. That's what we do it for. We're giving back. This is why God shines upon me, folks. This is why God shines upon me. How many of you took it? I feel like someone in here had to cash in on that one. Someone had to cash in on that one. I still can't believe it shows that I'm down $110,000. Oh, folks. Another day of making money. A good payday Friday. If you trade with trend, and it was a little tricky today because there was a trend switch up. Today we started off bullish, flipped bearish, became pretty evident. Honestly, at least the way I look at the market, it was a pretty good trade. So I'm happy with everything across the board. Folks, that's it for this beautiful Friday. I'm done trading. I already sold my premium. I made my futures trades. You could do the math here. I think I made, I don't know, $10,000, $15,000, something like that. I sold my premium. If you want to trade with me, GoonieTrading.com. Shout out to Lucid. Shout out to Vanquish. Code Goonie will work on both of those. We're breaking yesterday's low. We are in a 7% scenario when you break the previous day's high and low. Once again, that only happens 7% of the time. Pretty clear bearish reaction. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minutes, all bearish. Shows the 4 hour. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hours, all bearish. Mag 7 options flow is clearly bearish. S&P 500 options flow, let me reload it, but it's also bearish, just to let you guys know. So right now, and of course, anything can change. I mean, we're in a very headline-driven environment. Things can switch at any moment, but right now, as of 11 a.m., the bulls are not in control. In fact, the bears are crushing their face. They were in control out of the gate for sure, and then it got questionable around 10:30, and then it just completely broke down. So good luck. Good luck. Lots of people made lots of money. I'm going to go hang out in the Discord. I hope you got yours today. Thank you guys for participating in the Payday Friday giveaway. That's always fun to do. I love giving back to you guys, and it's always just fun to see who is the fastest marble racer in all the land. I appreciate all the good vibes this week. I hope you guys have a phenomenal weekend. Have fun, relax, rest, do whatever you need to. Or, hey, go wild. But we're going to be back at it again on Monday. Between now and then, we're going to be posting content every single day. So make sure you like this stream, but more importantly, subscribe and turn on those notifications on both Rumble and on YouTube so you don't miss any of that content. As I already said, I'm going to be going hanging out in the Discord. But a money-making Friday, another classic Payday Friday. So I very much hope you got yours. I appreciate all the good vibes. I'll catch you in the videos over the weekend. And if not, I'll see you on the stream on Monday. Thank you. Peace.